Thanks for joining us once again, and we are looking into the social media trends. Before we get into it, let me just quickly acknowledge our sponsors once again: Shield Acrylic Paint, Adonko Next Level Energy Drink, and Awake Mineral Water. Remember that anytime you buy Awake Mineral Water, 1 Ghana peso per bottle is donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center, and it goes towards financing who cannot afford cardio. Do that. Yesterday we had a cheesy quiz, and we'll be announcing the winners once again. Another question will be popping up on your screens at the end of this segment, so you don't want to miss it. I just want you to keep glued to your seats. Remember, you can join us via our WhatsApp line. The number is 055 5561034, 055 5561034. That's our WhatsApp number. We are interactive. We encourage you to get in touch with us. Remember to use temperate language, because we are trying to be civil here. Okay, so we are looking into our social media trends, and top on our list yesterday, for those who haven't seen him for a long time, the former Chelsea superstar, award-winning football icon. People call him even a fashion icon, because he used to have that iconic perm. Yesterday we didn't see him with the perm, but Didier Drogba played in a charity match yesterday, and he scored a hat-trick. Charlie, scoring hat-tricks like Ronaldo scored his 58th hat-trick of his career yesterday, and was it on Tuesdays ago? Yeah. So Wednesday, Tuesday?
Yeah.
Then Didier Drogba also scores a hat-trick. Is it a hat-trick week?
I missed the perm.
I missed the perm too. This does
not look like Didier Drogba, man.
I missed the perm too. I saw bits of the match, and I'm thinking, oh, where is the funny? You know, he would just hold it over.
This defender should be lashed. This defender should be lashed, man. Oh, yeah. I missed that celebration. Yeah, look out.
Oh. And he's doing it for charity. He's doing it for charity. It's something he's doing in collaboration with UNICEF.
That's all. Go poacher. Finish. Okay. Finish. Go. Didier and Santo, it doesn't go together, man.
I think he looks fine. I like it.
You didn't like the Jerry Press?
No, he's fine.
He and his wife would have shared the same hairdresser.
Kaf will say he still got it. He still got it.
Again?
So there you go. The Ivorian international.
Charlie, I think the goalkeeper just you see inside.
He wanted to give it to him.
No. You see inside. Give him. This is some of this.
It's a charity match.
That you cheap, man.
Oh, but even if it's a charity match, whichever way it goes, the proceeds.
Let's see the next.
All
one.
The people who bought tickets.
Where's Drogba? It's a good goal. Hat trick.
Even the opposite, everybody just
clapping.
Laughing.
Take the ball and
so
go home.
It's obvious that they are having a jolly good time for a wedding course. The information I have here is it was to take part in the Match for Heroes charity game organized by his former club and benefiting both UNICEF and Didier Drogba's own foundation. So 3 goals for Didier Drogba. He's excited.
Let me ask a question. When was the last time you saw a Ghanaian footballer score a goal and go and slide on the pitch like that?
In Ghana?
Yes.
On our grass or AstroTurf?
Like that. Have you seen it before?
On AstroTurf.
Have you?
No.
Because they have what? That's stones and sand and things.
I want to see it in Ghana.
You scrape your knee.
No, maybe someone will do it on the new AstroTurfs. We have quite a couple
quite a few of them.
No, that one ain't going to do.
If you're playing on some rocky, sandy pitch, you wouldn't want.
They call it Saka. Charlie, you just destroy your knees forever.
In James, we have a place called Sholo Park.
Sholo Park.
It's wood. It's waste wood. You know when?
Wow.
I've forgotten what that's called, but the English name for that. But we call it Sholo Park.
Yes. Sawdust.
There you go.
And this slide, how do they celebrate on Sholo Park?
Oh, but as for dust, so it's not as hard as sand anyway. So
congratulations, Drogba.
Shout out to Sholo Park and on the
Saka Park in
Saka Park. Well, look, the officials are telling us that without your national identification card,
yes,
if you are a government worker, no salary for you. So workers on government payroll without national identification authority numbers will not be paid salary from December 1, 2021. And that's from the Controller and Accountant General, Kwesi Kwenin Usompem. So if you're a government worker and you do not have a Ghana card, your salary this Christmas might not be nice for you. Okay, so we have to encourage everyone, and you know that the exercise is ongoing across different centers, encouraging everybody to go out there and get a Ghana card. Also because of the SIM card registration, but this is the public notice as part of government efforts to deliver speedy, secured and verified payroll services to government employees and pensioners while reducing the risk of undeserving payments or claims. The Controller and Accountant General's Department, CAGD, is collaborating with the National Identification Authority (NIA) to have a harmonized database to facilitate biometric and unique identification of all workers on the government payroll. By this notice, all existing and prospective government workers are to ensure they are registered with the NIA and have obtained their identity numbers. Please note that effective December 1, 2021, workers on the Government of Ghana payroll who have not registered with the NIA will not be paid.
If you value your salary, make sure you do the needful. I've heard protests from one of the unions thinking that this is just not the way to go. But I'm wondering how will this impact ghost names and ghost salaries and things?
I think there are always efforts to try and verify people on the government payroll to make sure that the ghost names are eliminated. So half the time when these things happen, people actually go and confirm that they have the requirements, whatever the requirement is of the day, and then they get their names on there.
The notice was served on October 12. So give and take half October, midway October, November, and December 1. Granted. So what's going to happen when people actually go, those who are not registered yet, try to, I beg your pardon, try and go and register? Won't there be any shortfalls there? Won't there be any go and come? Won't there be any drama? Because we have only up till December 1.
They should start now.
Yes. But then even while people are starting now to go and register, the officials of the NIA too should make sure that when people come, because people are going to leave their offices, there's traffic in town. I mean, you can't go and stand there for hours and say the machine isn't working, this isn't working. They should make sure that
do Sunday, every day.
Yeah.
To make sure
or move registration centers to government.
I mean, we all know what happens when we have to do registration.
If it's GBC and in Accra, bring a team here. And then, then people will not have an excuse. And it will be easier to beg your boss to give you a few minutes, even use your break time to step out and do it, than to take a whole day off to go and join the Gen Corp. So that's actually quite a good call.
You've just prevented some consultant from making some money on free consultancy. You've given them good ideas.
Then they should transfer their money to my account. Controller, they have my details already. You don't even have to struggle.
Just transfer.
Just send it to
people would not leave their offices, go through terrible traffic and go and queue.
And have you noticed
go and come
traffic in town lately?
See,
where are we going?
4:30 a.m. There's traffic already. 4:30 a.m. There's already traffic.
Wow. And it gets daylight it comes really early these days.
Early now. Today I thought I was late.
About 5 o'clock. It was so bright outside.
The birds started chirping around 4:30. I could hear them.
It's obvious you live in the city. Come to the village. The birds don't stop chirping. The cock crows at 2 in the morning, 3 in the. It's like Peter's cock, 3 in the morning. Every time every time the cock is crowing. Hey, but so get registered, especially if you're a government worker and you do not have a Ghana card. Do that, because otherwise Christmas might be a toughie. Yesterday we asked a question on our cheesy quiz segment, and we are seeing the question now: what is the maximum number of years of imprisonment in the proposed LGBTQ plus bill? That was the question we asked yesterday, and the answer will also be on your screen. The answer that we were looking for, not the answer that you thought it should be. Okay, so 5 years. That's the answer we were looking for. 5 years. That's the answer we were looking for. We got some winners, and we will also reveal who those winners are. Seidu Tanko Mohammed Rafai from Medina. We have your number, Seidu. That's Seidu on your screen. The next winner is Eben Menta, Eben, you are at Alajo. We have your number as well, so get in touch. And Nanan Ketia from Police Headquarters, we have your number. So ACP Nketia Frimpong, Police Headquarters, we have your number as well. Get in touch with us and redeem your pizza voucher. And we are powered by Cheesy Pizza to bring you the cheesy quiz of the day. Today we'll ask another question. Those are the winners from yesterday that you're seeing on your screen. Get in touch with us. Those you guys, congratulations from the whole team. Get in touch for your vouchers. Today we're asking another question on the occasion of World Vision Day. Which visually impaired musician has won 25 Grammy Awards? Which visually impaired musician has won 25 Grammy Awards? That's our cheesy quiz for today. Which visually impaired musician has won 25 Grammy Awards? If you know the answer to that, fastest fingers first. Okay, so send us the message now on our WhatsApp number 055 5561 055 55 Which visually impaired musician has won 25 Grammy Awards is our cheesy quiz question of the day.
Okay. Before we go, I asked a question. So hearing, sight, smell, taste, touch. Which of your senses would you miss most if you lost one of them? And these are responses on Facebook. Abiti Nelson Selassie says, if I can see, I have a touch. If I can see, I have a smell. If I can see, I have taste. I have a great connection between my sight and the mind that will make it possible. Miley Sense says, I can't pick one. I can't pick one sense. Eugenia Edinam says, I have partial hearing and it's bad. I lost my sense of taste and smell somewhere last year and it was equally bad. I think all of our senses make you feel alive. Nuimaji Alvagan says, sight. There's an ever saying that says, eyes make a man. And then Mercy Bonnie finally who says, Charlie, with my love for sightseeing, traveling to places of interest, browsing places on the internet, Massa, it will not be easy to lose your sight, especially if you have seen before. Taste is the second most important to me. You can have the most appetizing dish, but if you don't have salt, that food is just anything. It only occupies space in your tummy. When you have malaria, you only eat to fill your tummy so that your medication can work properly. This is why we should always thank God if we have all our senses functioning. Today's World Sight Day. We're going to be finding out from visually impaired people, blind people, what it feels like. I mean, what's it like to live in this country as somebody who is unsighted or partially sighted? What's it like? You can send your questions as well. If you're listening to us and you're visually impaired, you're blind, what are the challenges that you face? I remember I went to Akopon School of the Blind many years ago. This one I was hosting Who Wants to Be Rich. So when I got into the assembly hall to speak to the kids, the moment I opened my mouth, somebody came up to me and says, I know you. I know you. I watch you on TV. Supplying kid. I said, how do you watch me? He says, with my ears.
Oh, wow.
That's it.
Yeah, he said, I know you. That was just a wonderful
and
experience.
have you seen the visually impaired band playing? And they play so well.
Music is,
they have such
music
immense
now.
talent.
We musicians, we see them, we see the sounds in our head.
So it's a loss of one which heightens other ones, and the dynamics at play. I mean, at GBC we have a few visually impaired members of staff, and we absolutely adore them, don't we? Because they work effortlessly with very little need for any assistance of any kind, and so we know that these people are like us, and they can do as well as we do, even better. Okay, so we're celebrating World Vision Day today, and on the breakfast show we are going to have a number of them join us, and they are going to be sharing their stories and their perspectives on national issues. So you should stick and stay. We'll be right back. Stick and stay.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the breakfast show.
On GTV, what are you waiting
13 years and below will be selected from the Greater Accra, Northern and Ashanti regions to demonstrate their prowess. Which region will emerge victorious and which region will sit at the tail of the ladder in the maiden edition of the National Quranic Recital Competition? Anticipate the fever. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Across Africa, nations are beginning to trade among themselves like never before, creating the largest continental market the world has ever seen. On the Single African Market Program, we will show you how products, services, capital and people will be crossing barriers as the continent and its citizens embrace a single market in a sustainable manner for growth and development to meet targeted UN development goals.
Congratulations, Your Excellency.
Agriculture, manufacturing, aviation, maritime, mining, energy, tourism, technology and telecommunication, formal and informal trading, education, health, legal justice, financial and stock markets are all connecting in one African market. Get the latest update on all opportunities from the continent's trade house. Know the success stories and how challenges are being addressed. Africa is ready to trade among itself and the world, so are the people. The Single African Market is the voice of businesses that trumpets the vision of Africa everywhere, in association with the Government of Ghana, International Chamber of Commerce, Business for Peace Foundation, GIZ, UNECA, and UNDP. All new this July at this time on GTV.
Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
Hashtag GTV Breakfast World Sight Day Edition. My name is Kafui. We have a conversation on World Sight Day in a short while. My guests who are seated. I shall reveal them to you in a while. But we want to go to town. To where are we going? We're going to DVLA because one of my colleagues, Jay Gabra, is on the ground with a situation that he wants to bring to your notice. Jay, hi, good morning. Hello, Jay, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi, Kafui. Good morning.
Yes, Jay, tell me where you are, what's going on.
Breakfast, and this, yes, I can hear you. Can you? Okay, so good morning to you, Kafui. So I am at DVLA, the head office here in Cantonment. We're bringing you live updates. We're driving around this morning and we saw a number of people gathered around the entrance of DVLA. So we decided to stop and find out what exactly is happening. They are not here for their license. Apparently, there are a number of graduates who have been posted to do their national service here at the DVLA. So apparently, a number of them came very early since yesterday and even slept over so that they can be attended to this morning. Some also got here at dawn. And in spite of all this, the DVLA is on their toes. For those who came early, they've written their names, and then from time to time, they call them to go into the premises. So it's a little orderly. So even though you see the crowds over here, they are still attending to them, even at this moment. So I managed to get one of them to speak to me. Most of them were camera shy. So if she will join me here now, so she tells us where exactly she's been here since 5 a.m. this morning. Good morning again and welcome.
Good morning, thank you.
Please, your name?
My name is Linda Lamte.
Which institution are you coming from?
I'm from University of Cape Coast.
University of Cape Coast.
Yes.
What did you study?
I studied Communication Studies, Bachelor of Arts in Communication Studies.
Oh, okay. So thank you so much for agreeing to speak to us. So what can you tell us about your experience this morning since you arrived?
Yes, it's been quite calm because everyone is organized, but we came quite early. Us at 5, some came yesterday, but I came today, and we are waiting for them to call us so that, we write our names and then submit appointment letters.
Okay. How do you look to are you looking forward to the opportunity to working with the DVLA? Is this your first job, so to speak?
Yes, please, it is, and I'm hoping to be retained after service.
Not to put you on the spot, but do you think there are a lot of people here because of the uncertainty in the job market? So a number of them are here to grab their positions as quickly as possible.
Oh, there's the opportunities there's no there. So it's the survival of the fittest. So you have to try to survive because it's not easy out there. So yes.
So thank you so much. Wish you all the best for the. Thank you so much for speaking. So she spoke to us, so we can hear her comments.
Yes.
So basically, this is the situation right now at the DVLA. So for those who just came, they are now writing their names so that they can be attended to later. So these are the scenes coming from the DVLA head office here in the cantonment area. Back to you, Kaf, in the studio.
Thank you very much, Jay Gabra. We'll be keeping an eye on that situation this morning. So today is World Sight Day. It's devoted to talking about issues of vision, sight, access, all the issues that revolve around this one of the most important senses for human beings. What is it like to live without sight? We'll be having that conversation right now. My guests are Dr. Emefa Titiachi, who is an optometrist from Permeth Eye Care, and Selassie Sikaku, who is with GBC Radio Unique. He's a host of a love show, and he was born without vision. Selassie and Emefa, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you here, and happy World Sight Day to you.
Should we say thank you?
You should, yes, you should.
Love your eyes.
Thank you very much.
I almost said same to you.
Selassie, what does it mean to you when we celebrate World Sight Day, Selassie?
Well, it is. I feel it is for people with sight to realize how important sight is, and also to congratulate those of us who are visually impaired. And you know, most of the time when we are doing things, those with sight things we are doing some magic, or we are doing some miracles and things. So it's to congratulate us, you know, for doing our day-to-day activities, going up and down. Some of us even go with trot to places and all that. Some of us work on our own without any aid and all that. So it's just to create that awareness.
Before I come to MFA, have you ever used a white cane before, Selassie?
Yes, once a while, but I don't usually use it, which should not be the case. But, you know, mostly I move alone without a white cane.
Are you not scared?
No. If I know my surroundings very well, I can sometimes, even I run.
Selassie, yes. We'll come back to you in a short while.
Sometimes I even jog.
You jog too? So you are just basically independent?
Yes.
And that's the feeling you want to have all the time?
Exactly.
Do you feel that Ghanaians want to overprotect you once they know that you can't see?
It happens sometimes. Sometimes maybe you are going, once a while, yes, you need help. But sometimes you go and then somebody comes to hold you and he doesn't even know where you are going. And it's interesting. And you know, one thing I always say, you know, Kafui, I hope you've fallen into a gutter before.
Oh, I have.
Yes. But if you fall into the gutter, people say, oh, sorry, Kafui, you're sorry, don't worry, you'll be okay. But when a blind person falls into the gutter, say, oh, sorry, because he's blind, that is why he fell into the gutter. Oh, Charlie, this one, they shouldn't have happened. Oh, when you find you, they say, oh, you see, and they make it big.
Too much drama, right?
Yeah. Too much drama.
What do you want people to say to you when you fall into that?
Oh, sorry, Charlie, this one, they're sorry. It will be, sorry. Then straight away we go.
That's all.
That's it. Like how they do to the sighted people.
That's it.
Yeah.
Not you don't want
because everybody falls into gutters.
Charlie, I can remember the last one I
did.
What's the state of issues around vision impairment, blindness in Ghana? What are some of the numbers that we should be looking at?
Worldwide, 1 million people still have issues of vision, we call it visual impairment. We have blindness, and then we have visual impairment. Blindness is absence of vision. Visual impairment is anything that makes your vision less than 100%. So we have varying conditions that causes visual impairment. We start from cataracts, we have glaucoma, we have what we call refractive error, which a lot of people have, and some are still in denial.
Is it when you can't focus well?
Exactly.
Okay.
If you can't see well, we call it refractive error. They are all visual impairment. But in Ghana, we are number 2 in leading cause of glaucoma.
Ooh.
Globally. We are
Number
2. Yes, we are number 2.
Why is that so?
Because we are number 2. The numbers are huge.
Yes.
When they compared it globally, we are number 2.
But why do we have so many cases of glaucoma in Ghana?
We don't know. We don't know. But even that, we extrapolated that data from the clinic, from outreaches. So it could even be more. It could even be more. But that is just a pattern that we seem to have a lot running in Ghana. And unfortunately, there's no symptom. We have different causes of blindness. We have some people who are born with it, like my brother have explained. We have people who acquired it as they grow. And then we have the silent one, which is the glaucoma. Glaucoma doesn't have any symptoms. You know, when you have glaucoma, there's no sign, or until you just lose your vision.
It can be that sudden?
Yes.
You can just lose, get up one day and you don't see.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
That is why we are calling to action.
Okay.
That is one main reason why, because it can be reversible. It can be managed. We can preserve your vision a lifetime. That is why there's a call to action to love your eyes. So this year, in 1999, the WHO have decided to intensify activities to ensure that everybody gets their eyes checked, because all the causes of blindness, 90% is reversible when we detect it early.
Okay, so check your eyes.
Check your eyes.
All right. So that's it.
Yes.
So for you, it's a completely different situation.
Yeah.
You were born without vision.
Exactly.
Did you ever ask why you were born blind?
Well, you know, every parent, when he gives birth to a child and the person has a form of disability, they become very worried. So that was that with my parents, and they did everything. They took me to Germany. You know, those days they lived in Germany, so they just came to settle in Ghana. So quickly they took me to Germany, and then they went to check. They said, oh, there's something on the retina which will show red and it's showing white, or I think the other way around, something like that. So
Glaucoma.
No, but this is not a glaucoma, but it's something that they've not seen before. So they don't want to do any surgery to destroy the eye totally, or maybe probably it might cause other things. So they said, oh, then they should leave it that way. So, well, they came home, they struck and all that, and then they went to, you know, when it happens that way, people want to go to churches and things.
You had your fair share.
Exactly. And you know, when they went to the church they are in now, that is Ethereum Mission, you know what the pastor of Ethereum Mission told them?
What did he say?
He told them that Selassie will see in the way that people can't understand, or Selassie will see in a way that people can't see in that way. That's what he told them.
And how did your parents take it?
Well, surprisingly, they were cool with it. And then when I started growing up, they said, you see, he's seeing in the way you people don't understand. He does everything himself. He goes around easily. So that is what God wants for him. That's how God maybe probably wants him to be. Yes. So that is what led them on. And I went to school. I started school. That was also a challenge, because they were thinking how their young boy at 3-4 years will go to a boarding school and leave us at home.
And you went to boarding school?
No, I didn't go to boarding school.
Okay.
What happened was that now we were 2. They gave birth to my younger brother, and then there were 2 boys making noise in the house, crying, destroying everything.
He could see?
He could see.
Okay. So
they said, oh, then if that be the case, they'll look for a school for my younger brother and then see how they continue with me. So they went from one school to another. Those days we were living in Jowlu. So they went from one school to another, and then they went to Little Flower. And Little Flower, they said, oh, they take children from 3 or 4 years, but they don't take younger children. So my mom said, oh, I have a son who is 4 years, but he's visually impaired. So then they said, oh, bring him, and let's see how he copes with the situation in the school. So they brought me to the school, and then I coped very well. So I went to nursery in Little Flower. That was only a nursery school. Now going back, we have to continue to the primary. Then, you know, they said they wanted the integration for me so that I don't go to a body.
School.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Because those days, especially in the 80s, the situation over there was a bit difficult. So one public school accepted, and you know what happened? The last minute, they said, "Oh, the PTA said they cannot accept a person with visual impairment."
The PTA.
The PTA. So when they were going to admit a student, they have to contact PTA. So we were all surprised. I remember those days, I was about 7 years, so I knew what was happening around. So I told my dad, so is it because I'm visually impaired? They want to take me. So I was very sad. And he said, "Oh, don't worry. As a father, he has to, stand strong." He was not happy, but he has to say, "Oh, don't worry, we'll get a school." So we started roaming the streets of Accra looking for school. And those days we had a director of special education, and he was the late Mr. Sari. He said, yeah, he also believes in this integration. So we got to the youngsters, and then the proprietor of the youngsters said, "Oh, why not?" But he likes trying things new. So I was admitted in the youngsters somewhere in 1990, and then I went through to JSS. Our time it was JSS. So I finished JSS successfully over there, and then I had to go to secondary school. At that time I was a bit matured, so I joined my brothers and sisters who were visually impaired in the Okwap mine. So that was not difficult. Then after secondary school, Okwap mine, I passed and I went to the University of Ghana. That one too, we had resource persons over there, so it wasn't that difficult.
So you were a farmer, representing Akwafu Hall.
Exactly.
What was your program?
I did sociology and political science, Bachelor of Arts.
All right, we'll come back to you again to continue your story. But MFA, is the story of access and denial of access because of visual impairment, is this still something that happens today?
Not so much, because we have schools that train people with visual impairment, yes. But it is the infrastructure that is a big issue now. For example, when we had issues with coronavirus, we know everybody, they say social distance. How can somebody, we don't call them blind now, we call them severely visually impaired. How can he know his distance and social distance?
Let's ask him the same question. So how do you prefer to be referred to? Do you prefer to be as
no,
blind?
We call them severely visually impaired.
Let me hear the man himself who is living it. What do you prefer?
In fact, any of them.
If I say blind, do you feel offended?
It's cool. I don't know, but that is me personally. Blind, visually impaired, it's all the same. It's cool with me.
Social distancing, how did you manage that?
Social distancing. I always say it was difficult, and I asked my fellow blind or visually impaired people, "Hey, how are we doing this social distance?" And say, we were only living by the grace of God, and none of us, by God's grace, had coronavirus. That's in Ghana, but worldwide, I have a group I'm in, and then one lady was telling me about 2 people died from coronavirus. Yes. So what we do is, actually, we don't hold the hands of people these days. When maybe somebody is even guiding you, you hold the elbow. Yeah, mostly it should be the elbow, but we were breaking the law, and now we had to now go strictly by how to do the orientation and mobility, how to walk alone, or how to work with people. Yeah.
Okay. So in case you just joined us, it's the World Sight Day edition of GTV Breakfast, and my guests are Dr. Emefa Titiati, who is an optometrist, and Selassie Sikanku, who is visually impaired, works as a radio host. You love things. We'll talk about that in a short while. And let's just get some statistics to paint a picture of exactly what the situation with blindness is. Some figures are coming up on the screen right now. So we've got issues of trachoma and onchocerciasis.
Yes.
But
we eradicated trachoma in Ghana.
Trachoma is gone.
Gone. 2018. Wow. Yes. Awesome. That's a big deal for us.
Okay. Yeah. But onco?
Onco is still, they are still working on it, but trachoma have been eradicated. 2018, Ghana have been declared trachoma free.
Okay, and onchocerciasis, does that have to do with, is it river blindness?
Yes, river blindness, with the when settling in the arterial chamber that can settle into the retina, and people tend to lose their vision.
Okay.
Yes.
How careful should one be with eye issues?
2000% careful. 2000% careful, because your vision has everything to do with our daily life, our social life, our school life, our work life. So we need to be extra careful. I always say that when we have disability, like physical disability, we can manage, but the sight of life is priceless. Yeah, people like Selassie, they have survived. We've even done research. People who tend to lose their vision after some time have the charisma. They are able to overcome, but people still sink in. But people who are born with visual impairment are able to manage better than those who tend to acquire it as they go.
Let's test it from Selassie. Let's test it. Is it true?
Oh yeah, it's true. It's true. You know, Kafu, you've seen big guys and then big trees and all that. Now, that should not happen to you. You've gone.
No, I've fallen in the gutters. Don't worry, cry.
Okay, you've gone blind. Now in your mind's eye, you are painting that picture of those big trees. So it makes you not that active. But you know, when the years go by, you start getting used to, and then you become, you know, more active. So yes, when they start, it's very difficult because they are picturing the gutters.
Yes.
They are picturing the tables that they will bump into.
Let me get to your mind. You were born without sight.
Yes.
What do you see anything in your mind?
That's a question a lot of people asked. Yes, I you know, I even dream. Yes.
What do you see? What are your dreams like?
You know, it's like, let's say I'm talking to Kafu right now live, and maybe I go to bed, maybe I was very excited with it. Then I dream, I hear his voice. I just imagine myself sitting on this seat. It's just like what I'm feeling now, like sitting on this seat. So maybe unless I get up before I realize that, hey, I'm dreaming.
But are they, because I see now when I dream, I can see pictures of what are the sensations in
I
your
hear
dreams?
Voices, I touch things, I walk around, maybe knowing where I am, I open doors, you know, and those things, I touch the things.
So it's like a radio show in your mind?
Probably, yes.
Without the visual
vision, yeah.
So when I say red, what comes to your mind?
Well, that one, someone who was born visually impaired will not even have a clue. Unless maybe you were sighted before you became blind.
Okay.
So I remember one time somebody asked me the same question when I was in Legon. Then he said, what is black? I said, well, I don't know the black. I said, okay, the black is what you are seeing.
Yes.
A very good morning going out to use a pepper. He told that to me.
Are you curious about those colors?
No, not really.
Are you curious about seeing your wife?
Well, I can say I've seen her before. If she comes to stand here and she doesn't even talk, if I touch, I know who she is, and I know that's my double sweetheart.
It's just touch? I mean, do you use other senses?
Yeah, I hear the voice. When I hear the voice, I know this hair.
Today when I was coming here, I decided to perform an experiment. I decided to put my clothes on with my eyes shut. It took me a long time to put my cufflinks on. And I just realized that I needed to use my memory to remember where I put anything. How sharp is your memory?
Oh, well, you know, because we are living with visual impairment, it just happens. And then one thing about a person with visual impairment is when you are putting your things down, you put them in a way that you don't struggle to look for. I always say I hate looking for things. So I put my things in such a way that when I go, I just pick it, and then wear it. Maybe I know today I'm wearing the blue-black trousers. So maybe when I buy the shirt, I just ask the color, and then that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a favorite color for clothing?
Well, maybe blue shirts and blue trousers. Maybe
that's the one.
So that's it. Thank you so much. Let's go through a quick couple of things that maybe help to people who are watching us. Sitting in front of the television or computer for too long, how risky is that, MFA?
Yes, our computers, our phone emit non-ionizing radiations. So another way to check it is, you see that if you use your screens for long, there's this heat that it emits. Those are the non-ionizing radiations. That heat tends to dry the eye because the surface of the eye have tears. So sitting in front of it for long tends to dry the eyes, and that's when the irritation starts, the burning sensation starts. People even come with severe pain when the eye gets dry.
Can you go blind from too much TV?
No.
You can't?
Yeah, but the eye can get so dry. Some people are not lucky. You could sleep and wake up with your eyes stuck because when there's no lubrication, the eyelid could get stuck to the surface of the eye.
Let's talk about eyelash wahala. I've seen eyelashes as long as wipers. And Is it risky? Will these things fall on your eyes?
The glue they use for fixing the lashes, when it goes into the eye, can be risky. It can bend the cornea, which is the black of the eye. Some people have also used facial cosmetics for so long. They come and check their eyes, and we call it evert. You pull down their eyelid, and the eyes are stuck with so many particles. So it tends to give them allergies and all that. Yes. So for me, I personally discourage those glue on the eye.
Okay.
Yesterday, I went to check, and somebody was trying to convince me that now they have the glueless. I don't know how it works. Yes.
Glueless?
Glueless.
Let me ask the viewers. Charlie, I hear say some glueless eyelash something is in the system. Please let me know. I think Valerie will talk to me about this later on. So, but you have to be careful with the glue, right?
Extra careful.
Okay, let me come back to Selassie before we wrap up. Selassie, yes. What are your greatest challenges as an unsighted person?
Yeah, my greatest challenge, there are many. One is when persons who are sighted or who are sighted feel that you can't do something. You know, it is probably they've not even tried you.
Give me an example of a situation like that happened with you.
Okay, I was looking for employment after university. Young guy with the hot blood and everything.
Hot blood?
Yes. Mujana shit. And, you know, I go from one radio. You know, I love radio to bits. I started listening to radio when I was 10 years. You know, in the speech and prize giving, when I was 10 years, I said a poem and I was giving some money, and my dad added some to it for me to buy my first radio. Nice. I remember it was a Trident radio. And for instance, I went to one station and they said, oh, our equipments are not compatible with persons with visual impairment. And so there's no machine compatible with anybody, but it's when you learn it. Yeah. And, you know, from one radio station to another. But when I came to GBC, I came to their training school. You know, they were advertising their training school. So after the training school, the then Director General, Mr. Ampem Dakun, saw that this man is capable and he can do what he said he wanted to do. So I sent my application to GBC, and then I was, you know, employed. That was my happiest day. And I don't think I have failed GBC because I do my job. My job is my second wife. When I go,
so you're a polygamist?
Maybe. When I sit behind the console, if I'm not even feeling well, immediately I come behind the console and the sickness goes.
Do my intro. Do your intro for me. Imagine you're on air.
Okay. You tune to 95.7 Unique FM of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. My name is Selassie Siganko, and I'm inviting you to the program Touch a Heart. We're running from now till 1 p.m. Check with your time. It's 5 minutes past 10, and then we will roll. The first song I'm playing in the background is from the camp of Leosea, and it says, When I Need You. This song was recorded somewhere in the 1970s, but it sounds as great as yesterday. Stay tuned, don't touch a dial. You know what I want you to do for me? Call a friend to tell another friend that we are airborne here on 95.7 megahertz.
Nice. Now I'm going to watch your show. I'm going to listen to your show or watch it with my ears.
Yeah, maybe you watch it with your ears.
What time does it come on?
10 o'clock Wednesdays.
Nice.
Yes.
In the evening?
In the evenings.
Charlie, it's a love show.
Oh, yes.
Are you a lover, man?
My nickname is DJ Odo.
Hey, who gave you this name?
From school.
Hey.
You know,
you get experience.
Years ago, somebody was trying to lure a lady, and he was not doing it well, so I had to give him some 1 or 2 steps. And when the thing happened, he was so excited, said, Charlie, Odo doctor. And I said, oh yeah, me no. So when I came into broadcasting, then they said, okay, DJ Odo.
I want to know what advice you gave that guy.
Well, I told him, if he calls the lady 10 times a day, he should reduce it to 2 times. He should make himself very, very important to the lady. If he goes back and then the lady starts, if the lady really is interested, she will come, oh, you've not been calling me. Then you also start launching small, and then you pick the signal. When you pick the signal, they just launch deep into the whole thing.
So you should make yourself scarce.
Exactly.
So the guys who are all over women, they are doing the wrong thing.
Oh, no, they are doing the wrong thing.
Sometimes
you call, I know go pick, you go see your call and say,
great advice. You who have been chewing on and harassing women with persistent calls, take some advice. Relax, For chill.
But you did.
Before we go, let's talk about World Sight Day and how important is it for us here in Ghana and what you want to achieve from the celebration of this day.
Yeah, vision affects every area of our life. It affects how we work. It affects how in education system. when you are not born with visual impairment, when you are not born blind, we are fighting as much as possible to prevent blindness at all costs. That is why this year we say love your eyes and get your eyes checked. All professionals have pledged to provide thorough eye examination. For example, where I work, PMFIK, we are doing free eye screening on all our 3 branches. Most clinics across Ghana are providing free eye care. Get your eyes checked, love your eyes, see well, so that you can enjoy tomorrow with good and healthy vision.
Selassie, I want to leave the last word with you. What's your greatest wish?
My greatest wish is persons who are not visually impaired would, do things with us, will work with us. For instance, let me do it this short. A guy who is visually impaired wants to get married. He meets a lady, then probably the lady is very interested, but then the family members of the lady will say, "Oh, why are you not going to? Why are you marrying a visually impaired man? Are you members and room? Those things." Persons with visual impairments are just, I won't say like us, they are just us. Yes, but it's just that their visions are impaired. And everybody have a form of disability. For instance, somebody is not visually impaired, but the person is impotent. So I'll ask, will you choose between visual impairment and impotency? Which one will? Almost every man will choose visual impairment. All of us, not even almost, every man will choose visual impairment. So every human being has one disability or the other. It's only that some people's ones are obvious, but other people are also struggling with other things, like the impotence I was talking about. Yes. So just persons with sight should work with us, should do things with us. We are just you, not we are like you, but we are just you.
How do you see your wife?
I like slim women.
How do you verify that?
Oh, of course, when you hug the person or you hold the person by the arm, you see, this person is slim or this person is, big. And then when I met my wife, I gave her a hug and I said, "Kwe, Charlie, inele, mustard, ni start no few, and then it got into marriage."
Did she give you resistance?
Women definitely. "Oh, I'm going to think about it." And so you think I give you all year to think about it.
She's visually impaired?
No, she's sighted.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when did you know that, Charlie?
Oh, when she started calling me frequently. And I said,
you use your own strategy on her.
Oh, yeah.
You reduce the calls.
Okay, this one, there was no calls reduction, but it depends on the situation on ground.
What was the situation on ground as we go?
Oh, the situation on ground was, I felt within my spirit that this thing will work. However it is, it will work.
And it has worked?
Oh, it worked.
How's the family?
Oh, they are all fine. We have 2 children. And there's one on the way coming.
Hey, on the road?
On the road.
All right.
Yeah, 2 boys. There's one on the road.
You're hoping it's a girl?
Well, anyone God gives me, I'm cool with it.
You're cool with
it. But my wife is wishing for a girl. Okay. So let's give her a girl. So God, give her a girl.
You've given us a great interview. Selassie Sikanku and Dr. Emefa Titiati. Thank you so much for helping us celebrate World Sight Day.
You're welcome.
Any last words?
Okay.
Get your eyes checked. Okay. Get your eyes checked.
And
get your eyes checked.
Finally, if you are visually impaired, love yourself. If you are not visually impaired, love those with visual impairments.
On that love note, I want to say thank you to Dr. Odo. DJ Odo. and Emefa, thank you so much. That's our conversation. There's more on today's show. We'll be sitting down with a couple of very talented musicians. So we've got them in the studio for you. Berima Inti and Adelaide Besia will be talking to us and entertaining us on this show, World Sight Day. There's a conversation on headlines coming up pretty soon. We're talking about agroforestry as well. So there's a lot to talk about. Let me go to my messages before I round up this segment. So I asked the question to you on Facebook. I said, hey, which of your senses would you miss the most if you lost them? And this is a question, response, which I'll say to you, says, I've never had the sense of smell since I was born. I wish to experience it someday. Well, that's exactly what Selassie was talking about. Some people have some form of disability everywhere. But Vanessa says, this is a weird thought, my brother. I can't imagine losing any of my senses. Well, people not only imagine it, they live it. and they are just as happy as you. Somebody says, Gracie says, sight and taste. She can't do without sight and taste. Tamaklo says, taste. Charlie, you watch up, chew. You like chew. Linda says, smell. I wouldn't wish it even for my worst enemy. You need to have smell. Joyce Quay says, touch. Definitely. Okay, thank you so much. Keep them coming in. Our WhatsApp number is 055-556-1034. World Sight Day Edition. My name is Kaf. See you just around the corner for more interesting conversations on The Headlines.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show.
Guys of today, trust me girl, they'll never respect you.
I see boys fear marriage. Wow.
My brother, your woman is making use of your brain.
Me mama V now better tell me.
Jiminy manisu biaso. Ehwem.
Our real pass is here, buddy. Me okay.
I don't give my number to strangers. I am sorry.
I'm not a stranger.
From now onwards, if you want to date at least 10.
Smart game.
Anywhere around me with girl, if I see your shadow,
you go feel that.
The
woman see the place or something. Why you can't buy what 20 cities? See them probably 60 cities.
You want to surprise me with a car, and then you ask me for 7,000 Ghana cedis.
Bible say, "Okwasia."
I don't know the ladies. Are you guys just one of the guys who work at the airport?
Smart Game, a series directed and produced by Andrew Michael, showing soon on GTV.
I swore an oath on 7th January to be faithful and true to the Republic of Ghana. And that is exactly what I'm doing in the fight against Galamsey.
Yenjai, yenjai, Galamsey. Yenjai, yenjai, Galamsey. Yenjai, 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 Galamsey. Este Ghana.
Ghana mine, Emrina suo, Galamsey, SSA jayo, Umaye kambum, na ye mine say and say ye pebre.
Yenjai, yenjai, Galamsey. Yenjai, yenjai, Galamsey. Yenjai, 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 Galamsey, este Ghana.
Galamsey, yes you are say yo. Galamsey and forest I say yo. Galamsey in call for a woo. Say a bunch of wow bedem.
Yenjai, yenjai, Galamsey. Yenjai, yenjai, Galamsey. Yenjai, 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 Galamsey, este Ghana.
Yeah, my Ghana, yes, a man in seo. Yeah, my Ghana, yes, a man in seo. Yeah, my Ghana, yes, a man in seo. Galamsey master. Galamsey master. Galamsey master. Galamsey master. Galamsey master.
Today he has been extra sweet, and the way he looks at me.
I have done everything by the book. It's on. Hey, but I have to get some condoms, Charlie.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner from HIV, STIs, and unplanned pregnancy. Condoms are an effective way for protection against HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission, Ghana Health Service, Planned Parenthood Association of Ghana, and the Adventist Development and Relief Agency, with funding from the Global Fund.
newspaper reviews, the headlines, you know, pushing their thoughts and their agenda. But today we said, you know what, chill for us. Today is World Sight Day. So we have a new panel for the conversation to look into the headlines. Let me introduce my guests. So we have Festus Agbenyazi, who is a broadcast journalist right here at GTV on my far left. And then next to him is Bismarck Amo, who is with the Ghana Blind Union. He's an advocacy coordinator. And last but not least, the only lady on the panel, Regina Zilevu, who is a teacher at Kopimam SHS. And if you were following the show, you would have remembered that Selassie went to the same school that Regina teaches at. You're all welcome. Happy World Sight Day to all of you.
Thank you very much, Kofi.
I'm going to start with you, first. Just briefly, what do you do at GTV? I'm curious.
Yes, so I'm a producer. I've produced the breakfast show before. I've produced a lot of programs, including the funeral of Kofi Annan. I hosted a program called Inclusiveness, which is my personal program.
What is
which
it?
Which is more of visually impaired or persons with disability oriented, basically.
Okay.
And it advocated for more of assistance during the 2016 general elections. So basically, that's what I have been doing, and I continue to do.
Yes.
At GTV.
I'm feeling your broadcaster's voice. Nice.
Thank you.
Bismarck, what do you do at Ghana Blind Union?
Yes, so I work as an advocacy project coordinator for the Ghana Blind Union.
Okay.
I started on employment where we look for jobs for persons with visual impairment in the informal sector, and we do that in collaboration with government institutions like the NBSSI and banks like the ARB Apex Bank.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So that's the advocacy that you coordinate.
Yeah.
Nice one. Regina, I understand you are our history guru here.
Yeah.
You teach at Okwapamam?
Yes, I teach at Okwapamam, and I'm also with Ghana Blind Union Women's Wing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What do you teach at Okwapamam?
I teach history.
Yeah. Your students are listening to you as we speak right now. If they're allowed to watch TV at this time. They're like, well, good to have you all. We're going to look at the big stories of the day. Since I heard some election issues coming from Festus, let's start with election 2020. So the Electoral Commission saved the country $90 million, reducing voting time to between 3 and 5 minutes. So the EC Commission says that's what they've done. They saved us $90 million in the conduct of our election. This is coming from the lips of Mrs. Jean Mensah. She said this was achieved through a reduction of the cost of the election from $13 per person in 2016 to $7.70 in 2020. She also says that it also cut down the time for a voter to vote from 10 minutes to 12 minutes per voter to 3 to 5 minutes. She's made a few more interesting revelations. She says election 2020 was also the first election in the Fourth Republic to be fully funded by the government with no donor funding to support the election management process. So this is a couple of things that came out of a high-level parliamentary seminar on 2 decades of democratic elections in ECOWAS member states, achievements, challenges, and the way forward. Let me start with the man who has been on elections. Festus, so what are your thoughts, first of all, on what you said? I mean, I remember voting, and it took me such a short time. I was so shocked, you know, and so I can testify on that. What are your thoughts, though, on what she's saying about?
Yes, I think we must give the Electoral Commission a pat at the back. They've really done well, because we all know since the 1992, the Fourth Republic, I mean, our elections have been donor-driven, basically. So if they've been able to win us off donor funds, and then we've organized internal elections from our own funds, I think we must give them a feather in the cap. Regarding the time spent, I mean, yes, I mean, this time around things were smooth, shorter periods of getting into the line, casting your vote and leaving the premises. And so I think it was okay, but I'm sure there might be other lapses that probably going forward better things or more stringent measures could be taken so that it will give us a better, since I'm sure we want to get it more smoother and better, so probably there's more room for improvement. Okay. Basically that was what I'm going to say, but I think the 2020 election was much better compared to other
elections. Okay, Bismarck, for visually impaired people, for people with vision challenges, how did the election go down in 2020?
So you're hitting right on the spot. I was an observer, an accredited observer for the 2020 election. I went to about 60 polling stations, and well, when it comes to the process, it was okay for everyone, including the visually impaired. It was very smooth. However, the issue that was bedeviled with the election has to do with the setup, where the polling stations were structured or were set up. I mean, most of them were not accessible. They were using schools, and you know how our basic schools are full of staircases or rough path to get to where you cast your vote and those. So the process was smooth, but I felt the structure, accessibility structure, wasn't standard.
For somebody who is watching, is wondering, well, the man is visually impaired, how did he observe the elections? Paint a picture of how you observed it as somebody who is visually impaired.
Okay, so like any observer, you move around the polling stations, you talk to people to sample their views on how the process is going, and as you do that, you also look at the physical accessibility or the structural accessibility of how the police station has been set up, and I did this with an aid, so it wasn't anything challenging.
Okay. Regina, what was the voting process like for you? Did you vote in 2020?
Yes, I voted.
Was that your first time you voted?
No.
You've been voting since when?
The 7th one.
You voted in all elections?
No, since 2008.
Okay.
I was also an observer.
Okay.
So I went around observing the process. And as my brother said, this time the materials, the booths and so on were accessible, but the environment, I quite remember I went to Brew, one of the polling stations, and where the station was sited, it was like a valley, so you have to descend, and then they were voting under a canopy, and then it started to rain, then the wind was taking away the canopy, and it was scary and terrible. Yeah. So as my brother said, the physical environment was not accessible. Apart from that, we had access to tactile jacket, which we used to vote as blind people.
What is a tactile jacket?
The tactile jacket is Bismarck.
Bismarck, enter.
Okay, so the tactile jacket is simply like a booklet designed with embossment on it to aid a visually impaired person to vote. So like how you have the boxes on the ballot paper, on the tactile jacket we equally have the boxes there, and that will guide you to know who you are going to vote for.
So you use your fingers to
fill the node on the...
Okay, so it's more like a braille but adapted for voting.
Exactly.
It's good to ask questions like an ignoramus. When you said tactile jacket, I was thinking of something, and so now you told me that it's not something that you wear, but it's something that you use your fingers to determine who you want to vote for.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
That's correct.
And then what I also observed was that persons with disabilities were given preferential treatment at the center. So you go there, you do not join any queue. You just go, you are allowed to vote and then leave. So that was also commendable.
All right, I'm just curious though. So how do you determine between elephant and umbrella? I mean, how did you determine who you were voting for as visually impaired people? Festus.
Okay, so as Bismarck indicated, the tactile ballots, you know the paper, that's the ballot paper. So the parties, they ballot for positions. So maybe XYZ is party 1, QRS is party 2. So when you slot it into the tactile ballot, it has boxes, and then maybe it has dots around it. So maybe dot 1 is for party 1, you know that, okay, so representative.
Okay.
So immediately you count maybe 10 parties, 10 electoral positions. You count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it's the 5th person you want to vote for, you just dip your hand in the ink, your thumb in the ink, and then you use your right or the left hand to locate the box, and then you just thumbprint. Okay. And then you take it out, fold it, and then you are guided, because it's secret ballot, you are guided to put it in the ballot box.
Okay.
So basically that's what we do.
Just from all of you, did anybody try to influence you to vote in a particular way, taking advantage of your visual impairment? Did you have any of those, or did you hear of any cases like that?
For me, no. And there are lots that I had opportunity to talk to also had free and fair elections. So those who could not use the tactile were allowed to use their personal assistant.
Okay.
Yeah.
They will tell the person who to vote for, and then they vote for them.
No, they will not even. If you don't trust the process, you go with your assistant. Okay. The assistant will help you slot the ballot paper into the jacket, and then you.
Okay. Let me also add that if you did observe, your ballot paper had an edged cut.
Yeah.
I don't know if you did observe, but yes, that edge cut is supposed to guide a visually impaired person to know how to position the ballot paper in the tata jacket.
I see. Okay.
Yes, and with this process, let me also commend the Electoral Commission for equipping visually impaired persons. Not all the districts, I think about 50 or 100 districts, I'm not too sure, in how to use the tata jacket to vote. So this helped the process to be very free and fair and smooth for a visually impaired person. And there wasn't any way someone could mislead any visually impaired to vote to the wrong direction.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that. Issues coming out of election 2020 beyond saving Ghana $90 million. I always wonder why we quote in dollars. You know, what happened to the cedi? Do you have those thoughts too?
Yeah. When you mentioned it earlier, I was thinking of. So are we ashamed to mention our currency, because everything in dollars now? I have to sit down and calculate the dollars into cedis before I will know how huge it is.
Yeah, I mean, by force mental all the time. You know?
Maybe the city is becoming Usain Bolt, so we don't.
No. The city is becoming Usain Bolt.
Yes, exactly.
We can't justify it as such. We can't justify it. If this election was self-funded, let's mention it in our currency.
Cities. Yeah.
Okay, good point. If it was self-funded, why don't we mention the cost in our own currency? That's a fantastic point there.
And then if we had mentioned it in our own currency, then we will know the huge sums that has actually been saved. But if you say $90-something, it
doesn't look big.
It doesn't look big. And then how many Ghanaians would even want to take the trouble of calculating it and then seeing how much did you?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Unfortunately, I don't know. I can't read the papers. Our papers in Ghana haven't made it accessible for visually impaired.
You don't have braille papers. You don't have audio papers.
No.
The only thing we have, basically, you can go online.
Yes, and then online, some of them are not also accessible. The format that was used are not accessible.
So how do you get your news? I'm curious now. First of all, how do you read the news?
Yes, so basically what I do is in the morning I either go online, or probably 5:30 I'll just tune in my radio, listen to the newspaper headlines and make sense of it.
Okay.
Then probably later in the day the screen reader reads it to me.
In the Ghanaian accent?
No, in a foreign accent.
Foreign
English,
accent. We need to domesticate all these things. Don't you think so?
So, depending on the news headlines I want to, or the newspaper I want to read, I just click it.
Okay.
Then it opens then I tap to where I'm supposed to read the body of the news. Then I just read it and then get a sense of it. Yeah.
Regina, is that how you also how do you get your news?
Basically, I listen to 6 o'clock news every morning. So I start from the shortest news.
Which one is the shortest news? Regina, which one is the shortest news?
Joy FM is about 5 minutes. Then
you realize that the English stations give short news.
GBC Ghana.
Is that a long news?
Yes, that's
very long.
That's 30 minutes.
Thank you. I'll give you more detail. The English guys, they are short. And the T ones are long.
2 hours.
2 hours with all the entertainment inside.
Then after listening to the news, I also listen to the paper review and make sense of the headlines.
Okay, awesome. Bismarck, how about you, Bismarck? Same thing?
So I do the same. I mean, from 5:30. Some want to be heard earlier, so they start early. So I start with them, 5:30 through to around 7:30.
All right.
And I listen to all those, then move to social media to read some, and then to the online portals. Those accessible, I go there and also take my news stories from there.
All right. Yeah. Looking forward to the day where we'll have news stories written in the Ghanaian languages, and when you use a screen reader, you'll be hearing the news in your own language, apart from the local language radio broadcasts.
Okay.
Yes, no, you wanted to say something before?
Yes, I was coming to say, apart from that, some of us are low vision. So if the papers could be made at least a little large font, so that those with low vision could read.
Good. That's a good point. They are watching. And they will take note. So they should make the font bigger. Yeah, because some of the font really is so small, you have to struggle with like that, and you know. Anyway, well, thank you very much for those comments. What are your comments on the news? EC has saved the country. 90 times 6 is what? Quick mental, before the ruler comes on your head. 540 million cities, that's what it is. So as Regina said, when you put it in cities, now it looks big. That's half a billion cities has been saved by reducing voting time from 3 down to 3, between 3 and 5 minutes. So we are domesticating the price. What are your thoughts on what you've heard so far? Let us know. 02055 556 1034 is the WhatsApp number. Let's go to more news here. So this one has gotten organized labor very angry. Reconsider directive on Ghana card, says organized labor, page 16. So there's something about no salary if you don't do something. So organized labor has asked the Controller and Accountant General's Department to reconsider its directive that government workers without Ghana cards will not be paid their salaries effective December 1. According to organized labor, the process of acquiring the Ghana card had not been efficient and easy, and implementing such a policy within a short time would be problematic and unfair to affected people. So basically, they have given a deadline which expires in December. If you are not on the Ghana card, no salary for you. Festus, are you on the Ghana card?
Yeah, I have fact. They came to GBC, I think, last year or so, so I took the opportunity to register. I think Ghana, we do a lot of laws, but we don't enforce them. I remember 2016 doing, I think, Haruna Idrisu was the Minister for Employment then. He came out with some directive. I mean, we should go and do Eastwich card. We'll be paid on Eastwich card. 10% of our salaries we paid on Eastwich. We ran to go do this Eastwich card, and not today, nothing. So if really we really want to, it shouldn't be just a directive where, before we say Jack is falling into waters. But if really, yes, then we want everybody to get the Ghana card. I mean, we shouldn't use salary to penalize people. I think there should be a proper way. So, for example, as they came to GBC, they should go to other institutions, and I think Ghanaians would take opportunity to do it. But if you go and form a long queue and unending queue, and then you have to come back without doing it, I mean, it wouldn't encourage people to do it. So there should be a more structured and easy way for people to get this card. I think when it's done that way, everybody will troop in to go and get it. By using salary as a bargaining chip,
you feel like it's a threat? It's a blackmailing,
and that's
why
labor,
workers?
Yeah, and that's why the labor unions are up, because now things are hard. And if you're going to store my salary, Charlie Cafe,
Charlie, go be bloody.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think there should be a proper way I mean, we should dialogue. There should be a proper way.
Yeah.
Maybe there should be stops. There should be places where you can just walk in. There should be booths you can just walk in. If it's possible, not necessarily go to Shiashi or their headquarters or wherever. I mean, they should bring it to the doorstep of the people, and I think it will really help.
I think so. Decentralize the process. Exactly. One time. I'll come to you shortly, Bismarck, but I want to hear from Regina. Are you on the Ghana card?
Yes, I am.
So your salary is safe?
No, but I don't know why Ghana card should be the basis for my salary. If I don't have a Ghana card, I don't see the reason why I shouldn't be paid. What is the link?
It's a good question. You want to answer it yourself?
No, I'm asking.
You're asking them what is the link? What is the link between Ghana card and salary?
And salary. I don't get it.
They want to. The argument is that Ghanaians are not getting onto the Ghana card, so this is probably a way to kind of convince you to because you know Sikaya Moja.
So how about those who are not on government payroll? Should they go scot-free, or are they free from getting onto the Ghana card?
You're asking questions. We'll bring Ghana card here and put. I'm sure it's National Identification Authority. Right?
I just want to check.
Using it for anything, so they should give people reasons why they should get a Ghana card, and then give us ample time, bring it to our doorsteps. That is decentralizing it, and then maybe in 2 or 3 or 5 years time, everybody could be on the Ghana card.
So the public servants must serve the public. Is that it? They should bring the thing, they should serve us and stop sitting there and allowing
us. They should give us reasons why we should have the card.
First of all, I'll come to you shortly, but let me hear from Bismarck.
What I think
you think the communication has been good about this Ghana card business?
Yeah, so I think Controller and Accountant General should tune down on these timelines and go to Senate and emulate from them, because now when you are going to register for Senate, you have to go with your Ghana card for it to be linked to your Senate number. Likewise, any other institution, and this should be emulated by a controller, that anytime a new recruit is in there to do biometric, what we call biometric, they should request for the Ghana card right from there, and that should be the starting point, and not to issue these threats or timelines or blackmail or whatever it is, because a lot of people will be disadvantaged as far as these timelines are concerned.
Okay.
What if I'm not in the country by then?
No salary for you.
I'm out on official duty, out of town, and we know people travel for workshops and those things.
Yeah.
Does it mean when I come back I'm not getting my salary? Or if NIA system is down and I haven't been able to do my card, I'm going to forfeit my salary for no fault of mine. So they should relax on it and start from the new recruits. I mean, they should start requesting for their Ghana card. It should be one of the requirements for going through your biometric registration as a government employee.
Awesome.
Well, I believe we should have a one system where you can access every information about every Ghanaian and a legitimate Ghanaian.
Okay.
But I don't think we should rush into doing that.
Okay. NAT is Ghana National Association of Teachers.
Yeah.
They say it's a threat to Ghanaian workers and it's unacceptable. ICU says using the Ghana card as a conditionality for the payment of salaries was most unfortunate. So the unions are speaking with one voice. ICU is Industrial and Commercial Workers Union. They're not happy. Festus, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I just wanted to add to what Regina was just saying. I mean, government pays 600,000 workers. So let's even, deduct 600,000. We have over, 30 million people in Ghana. So even if you take 600,000, that's on government payroll, then what next? Then the chunk of them. So, using that as a bargaining chip, I don't think government, as my brother said, they should tone down, find a better, alternative, and then I think we are quick to go.
Okay. So, Controller and Accountant General Department, my panel here, Bismarck, Regina, Festus, say tone down. Regina wants to know, what is the link? You know, that's a question of the day. What is the link between Ghana card and salary? She wants answers, and we shall be bringing them here because we have to serve the public with answers to the questions that they are asking. The WhatsApp number is 055-556-1034. So it's World Sight Day. If you missed the first interview with Selassie and MFR, you missed. But don't worry, you can go to YouTube or Facebook and type in Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, and the interview is there. Fili, Gani Gani. My guests for headlines, all visually impaired, all contributing to the conversations around what's happening in the day, are Festus Agbenyezi, who is on my far left. He's a broadcast journalist right here at GTV. The only lady in the panel is Regina Zilevu, who is a teacher at Okwapimam SHS. And the man in the middle is Bismarck Amu, who is from the Ghana Blind Union. He's an advocacy coordinator. More conversations, more music, more interesting chats on the show. Adley the Seer, if you want to see her, you will see her soon on the show. And the person who you are going to see right now and hear from is the lady in red. Red, at least the shoulders are red. She's called Valerie, and she's going to take us to Ogwe or Central Region, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe.
I guess the Central Region. Hi guys, and so we're keeping an eye this time. We're going to Cape Coast, where about 230 cataract patients who are fully or partially blind have fully received their sights after free cataract surgeries were performed at them at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. The exercise is still ongoing, and as part of activities marking this year's World Sight Day, we have our correspondent Kinsley Nanabwedu. I'm not going to give you everything. Kinsley Nanabwedu is on standby to tell us exactly how people are benefiting from these surgeries and what exactly is happening in Cape Coast. And he's on our screens now. Kinsley, you're live and piping hot. What's up, Kinsley? All right, the hashtag to follow is still GTV Breakfast. Kinsley, you're live. Okie dokes.
Hello. Well, good morning, Ava, and of course, good morning to everyone watching us. Of course, today happens to be World Sight Day, a day set aside across the globe to, of course, look at sight issues in the country. I want to welcome you to Cape Coast, and to be precise, Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, where a very beautiful initiative is taking place here since Monday as part of activities marking this day. More than 440 people have gotten their eye, of course, operated on so far as cataract is concerned. And this has been a collaboration between the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital and, of course, it means Ghana Health Service and an organization, NGO from the United States called Helian projects, and they have come here, and I am told this is going on for the past 5 years, and with so far as the statistics are concerned, over 2,500 people have already gotten benefited from this particular project. Today we are here to find out how these patients are feeling, so I came to have breakfast with them, so they will be telling us for the first time. Some of them have been operated on. All the people you see behind me have been operated on, some partial cataract, some also full. Some of them weren't seeing at all. Others also were seeing partially as a result of cataract disorder. And of course, they are lucky today, all of them. It is just now that I have seen the plaster on their eyes being removed. It is a beautiful thing to do. You know, can you imagine singing for the first time? But before I go to them, I will wish to speak with some of the officials here who will be able to tell us exactly what is going on and what they have been doing so far as today is concerned. The coordinator for this particular project happens to be Mr. Kafri, and he is coming to tell us exactly what the collaboration is all about, and of course the benefit these people have derived from all this. Chief, good morning.
Good morning.
We know today is World Sight Day. Can you tell us the collaboration between you and Helayan Project from USA and what we are seeing today?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Kafui Akodunu. I'm the project coordinator for the CCTH Himalayan Cataract Project. This project was launched in 2019, where the hospital had to sign an MOU with the project team in the USA. And since 2019 to last July, when we had the last outreach, we've been able to operate about 2,500 eyes installed. We normally go around the central region to bring patients from all the districts in the region. And this high volume surgeries, which we started on Monday, and we're hoping to be ended tomorrow, we've done about 444 eyes already being restored. The patients for this project were from Ekunfi district and the Atimupa district of the central region.
I am told it started Monday.
Yes.
Can you run us through Monday to now, the number that you were able to do during these days?
Okay, from Monday we had to restore 207 eyes. Then on Tuesday we had to do 149 eyes, and yesterday we did 89 eyes. So it's the 89 eyes that you can see. We removed their plastic, and I'm sure that the smile on their faces, maybe because of the nose masks, we can't see the smile and the joy on their faces. But as the doctors go through and check their vision, it will be all joy at the end of the day.
Well, I will be speaking with some of the patients. I want to have some breakfast with them. But before I do that, I want to talk to some of the surgeons who are here. Through them, we've had this beautiful initiative, and our mothers here, of course, our mothers here and fathers here are going to see some for the first time, some too for some time now. Madam, Doc, good morning.
Good morning.
Can you tell me your name and some of the conditions you want to tell us with regards to cataract? What is it? So first tell us your name and tell us about cataract.
My name is Dr. Sylvia Ekwabukman. I am an eye surgeon. Well, cataract is an opacity in the lens. The most common cause is aging. You can see most of the patients here are aged. When it happens in young adults, it's often complicated from trauma or an inflammation. So most of these people are in the rural areas, and they noticed they couldn't see, but of course they thought it was as a result of their aging process, so they didn't do anything about it. And so we went over there to screen them and told them this is reversible, and encouraged them about surgery, which they agreed to and came. This whole year we've been doing this every 2 months, and we've been taking patients from different communities, and we've been restoring their sight for them. They are indeed so excited. So each time we do it, we get more patients because we've created awareness, and they are all excited about it, and they offer themselves willingly to be operated upon.
I will be speaking with them when I want to have the breakfast with them. But of course, tell us, aside the aging, is there any causes? Do you have some causes that, of course, attribute to these cataract situations?
As I said, the most common cause is aging. Everyone at a point in life may get it, but there are different grades. It's a whole spectrum. Some of them improve with glasses, but at certain times, even with the glasses, the vision will not improve. So we need to operate on them. Okay. And once it is operated, they can see clearly, but there's no other problem with the eye. But as I said, there are other causes such as trauma, and some children are even born with cataracts from maternal infection, and those children are also operated upon. Okay. In this period, we've operated on some children. Okay. From Monday to Wednesday, we operated on a few children. Okay. Whose vision have been restored. We even operated on a deaf and dumb guy who was so excited about how he's seeing now. Okay.
Well, Doc, let me take this opportunity to find out from you. I am wearing a lens. Today being World Sight Day, run us through what are the statistics, what are the figures, what do we need to do with regards to blindness and visual impairment? Can you tell us anything about the situation?
I'll hand over to the National Eye Coordinator to give you the figures on those conditions.
Exactly so. Of course, there are a number of them officials here, and of course, when it comes to statistics and what we need to do to, of course, protect our eye, I am told Doc is going to do justice to that. Doc, good morning.
Good morning.
And you are welcome to GTV Breakfast.
Thank you very much.
Well, tell us, Today is World Sight Day. Give us the statistics. How serious, how dangerous it is, and how needful it is for us to be protecting our eyes from now on.
Yeah, thank you very much. Today is World Sight Day, like you said. Actually, it's a day that we create awareness. Awareness among all of us, both the government and the private sector, to ensure that everyone has a good eyesight or good eye health. Now, the point is that there are over 75%, 80% of the causes of blindness. We can do something about them, right from birth all the way to, I mean, we've just seen the cataract cases. There are things that we can do to reduce the cataract. But like she said, it's because of age. But then once you get a cataract, you can do the surgery and remove the surgery.
Okay.
Now, globally, we know that 2.2 billion people have visual problems. And about 1 billion of them are things that we can do something about. Those who need spectacles like yourself. In fact, if I should take your spectacles now, you won't see anything. And that's the reason why you need the spectacles.
Well.
And then those who have cataracts, we can do something. The surgeons are there to do the surgeries for them, so that they can restore the sight back, and then they'll be able to be productive. Apart from that, glaucoma is also there, which is actually pressure in the eye, which can damage the eye. And the earlier we see it, the better, so that we can prevent you from going blind.
All right.
We used to have trachoma and other things, but luckily as a country, we have removed trachoma from this particular country. So those are some of the things and the statistics globally and then also in Ghana.
Well, Va, I want to ask this question on behalf of myself, Thelma, and even the doctor standing right before me. He's wearing spectacles. I am myself, and many others. I want to find out what is the level of our impairment. I know I'm not blind. So what's the level of my impairment and yourself?
Okay, I can tell you that your level of impairment can be determined by the glasses that you are wearing.
Okay.
Like I said, if I take your glasses now, I'll consider you a blind person. But once you wear it, then you become normal sighted person, because you can see what we call vision of 612 or vision of 618. So once you fall in that category, then you are a normal sighted person, no matter the devices that you are using. It can be spectacle, it can be contact lens, it could be any other device. But then once your vision comes back to 612 or 618, you are okay.
Well, thank you very much, Thelma. All is not lost. We are okay. We are not totally gone. And of course, with this age, of course, we are even more than those that perhaps are not wearing this. But I want to talk to the CEO of the hospital. I must say that there have been so many beautiful initiatives which I have witnessed and seen here in the hospital. He will be coming to tell us exactly most of them. Of course, one is this: we will find another time to be dealing with the most of the issues and most of the development and initiatives taking place here in the hospital. But so the CEO will be here.
Kinsley, that was a healthy helping of breakfast from the Central Region, served by our Central Regional correspondent Kinsley Nanaboidu, who is at the hospital, the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, where some people who were previously visually impaired have now gotten their sights back, and we saw quite a number of smiles back there. This show is interactive on all our social media networks, and then on WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp number is 055-556-1034, and on our social media handles, the hashtag to follow is GTV Breakfast. Later on, coming up pretty shortly, we'll be keeping an eye with Jay, but before that, this show is made possible by our Wake Purified Water. A fraction of money goes to the Cardiothoracic Center when you buy a bottle of our Wake Purified Water, and the proceeds pay for people who cannot afford medical care. So make sure you buy a bottle of our Wake Purified Water every day. Also, our Donko Next Level Energy Drink is responsible for our peckiness this morning. Shield acrylic paint, cheesy pizza. Our question for the day has been put out already, so remember to send your answers to our WhatsApp number, not our Facebook, not our Twitter, not our YouTube. And then also, later on, my side of the couch, the yellow couch, is proudly brought to us by Airtel Tigo. We are still waiting to connect with Jay, but still to come in the show, we're going to be having a sit down with the Sia, Adelaide the Sia. I know you've seen her, you've heard her music, and so you can start sending in your comments. What you want to know about Adelaide, things we don't know, all of those things, you can send your comments. And Kafui is still Okay, CAF is done. So we'll be having a conversation later on with T, and she's going to be sitting down with some people in the agricultural sector, and so that's what to expect from T's Corner as well, guys. I wish I could read a few of our messages from Facebook, but we are still waiting to connect with Jay, and my producer says he's going to be in our ear in a minute. Right, and so while we wait for Jay, we're going to hand over to Cuff, King Cuff.
Val, I wanted to know what the traditional Cape Coast breakfast would look like. Is it all about the fried egg and that, or they have other stuff? I'm just curious. If you want to, if you know, let me know. Before we wrap up the headlines, and there are quite a lot of interesting stories here, talking possibility of a major earthquake in Ghana pretty soon. Lots of lives, over 2,000 lives lost in road crashes to date, and venturing into agribusiness and exports, which, by the way, is the topic of a conversation later on today's show. I wanted to wrap up the headlines with just your personal stories, really. What's your story of visual impairment? I'll start with Bismarck.
Well, thank you very much. I have never had eyes before. I can see. I was born with it. I have schooled through to the tertiary. I'm the only person with visual impairment in my family. It hasn't been easy going through education in Ghana as a visually impaired person. There are a lot of setbacks, but with perseverance we managed to sail through. A lot of stigma, a lot of discrimination.
Even in your family?
Yes. Even Jesus was betrayed. Lot of stigma, lot of discrimination, right from the family to friends to the general public. People see you and immediately you want help, they think you're coming to beg, so they ignore you. But as I speak now, I am not expecting God to restore my sight, because whatever He wants to use me for and whatever He wants me to achieve, I'm achieving without my sight, and I'm okay with that.
Has anybody tried to give you your sight back through prayer and things like that?
1,001 times. People tell me to wash my face with salt and water. People giving me oils here and there. But I got to a point I told myself that my sight wouldn't be a barrier, so I shouldn't worry myself again. And from there, I trust in God to be able to do everything, but it hasn't been part of my prayers to have God restoring my sight. The only thing now I wish I could do is to drive, but that one is not much a problem. I could create employment by giving someone the opportunity to drive me.
Yeah. And briefly, you want to say something about Ghana Blind Union before I get to...
Yes, so I'm in this cause because Ghana Blind Union is leading a process to ensure that the African Disability Protocol is being ratified. The African Disability Protocol was enacted in 2018 at the AU head office to ensure that persons with disability enjoy the full rights. And this protocol speaks in the African context. It speaks in the African language. The very things that happen in Africa to persons with disability, that's what the protocol seeks to address. So what I'll say is I'm calling on all Ghanaians to come and support the call for the government to also ratify the protocol so that persons with disability in Ghana will also enjoy their full rights. I wish I could turn for them to see what is at my back.
What's on your back?
Yes,
you can turn, yes. And I can see promoting the African Disability Protocol, I see it.
Exactly.
All right. Okay.
So let's talk about it as media people. Let's talk about it as citizens.
Okay.
Let's talk about it as statespersons, so that persons with disability will enjoy every right and stay away from harmful practices that is being meted out to persons with disability.
Thank you very much.
Like albinos, those with cerebral palsy, and those with blindness, among other disabilities.
Thanks a lot. Bismarck Amu, who is with the Ghana Blind Union. He's the advocacy coordinator. Briefly, before I get to Valerie, Regina, your vision impairment story, how did it begin?
Yes, I was also born like this, and then I have schooled with it. Initially, I was in a normal school, but then when the teacher writes on the board, I have to get up from where I was sitting, go to the board, read and come back. Sometimes before I get back to my seat, I've even forgotten what I've read. I have to go back, and then my schoolmates or classmates laughing at me, calling me all sorts of names. And then the headmistress then saw that the mainstream was not helping me. Then I was recommended to go to school for the blind. So I started school for the blind from class 2, and then I've gone through it. A woman with visual impairment, women are already marginalized, and if you have a visual impairment, your case is double. But then it has all been good. We learn from the challenges, we fall, we rise, and then we move on. But then my little advice to the public is, we never wished for this condition. We never wished for it, but then this is how we find ourselves. And then we wish and pray that nobody else join this situation. But in case God does not listen to our plea, and any of you join, how will you want to be treated? So you close your eyes and then you think that in case I find myself in this situation, how will I want to be treated? How you want to be treated, treat us same.
Thank you very much. She has these rhetorical questions that she's been asking us, and we need to think about them. Thank you so much, Regina. Last word with you. Festus, what's your story briefly?
Yes, so I wasn't born with it. I started a normal school. In fact, I started with Dex Preparatory in Tema, but it got to a time the challenge came. So my headmistress decided to tell my parents to send me to Ekropon. So I left Ekropon in '94, went through the system, got my degree in University of Ghana, and then got employed here. It's not been a smooth journey. I think the naysayers and the doubters, the discriminations, but I think always I've kept my head above waters. It's one thing that I always say, have a tough skin in life. Don't let anybody put you down. Just believe in yourself, believe in everything that you do, and hey, just know that there's one you and there's no other person than you, so just go ahead. One thing I would say is the disability law since 2006 up to date, I don't know, it seems nothing has been done about it, and yet we found voices advocating for other things. I'm thinking that all the zeal, all the voices that we are channeling for other things, look, we should just channel it to advocate for the bill to be enforced and better things happening to persons with disabilities in this country.
Thank you very much. My power panel here, Festus Agbanyezi, is a broadcast journalist with GTV. The lady in the middle is Regina Zilevu, who is a teacher at SHS, and Bismarck Amu is the Ghana Blind Union Advocacy Coordinator. Lady and gentlemen, thank you very much. Enjoy the day, and God willing, we'll do this again sometime.
Same to you, Carl.
Alrighty, thank you so much. Still to come, conversations on agroforestry, there's entertainment, there's the Granny Project, and there's Valerie.
Thank you, Kav. Well, I'm back. Not speaking today this time. We are keeping an eye. Here at GBC, we are celebrating World Sight Day. So we are keeping an eye from the Kupong School for the Blind. And my colleague Alan is ready on standby to tell us what's happening from that side of town. Alan, there he is. Alan, what's happening? What's happening? What's the 411?
Valerie, good morning, Ghana. Welcome to the special edition of Keep an Eye live from the Ekropon School for the Blind. This is in line with the celebration of the World Sight Day. I quite enjoyed Cap's sit down with DJ Odo, and I learned a lot from DJ Odo. And guess what? I'm not going to disappoint you. Thanks to DJ Odo.
And so we'll have to blame technology for that little glitch. We'll get back to Alan shortly, but then still to come on the show, we have a conversation later on about agribusiness and support for smallholder farmers. We also have the Granny Project. If you have an idea what that is, you can send your comments to us. The show is interactive on our WhatsApp number 055-5561034. Alan, well, we are still waiting to connect with Alan. And then later on the yellow couch, I'll have a sit down with Adelaide Lucia. I can see Alan behind me. Alan, you're live.
Hi, Valerie, sorry for the technical glitch earlier on. As I was saying, today's celebration is in line with the World Sight Day, celebrated the world over, and we're coming to you live from the Akropong School for the Blind. This school was built in 1945. It began with 4 students. I understand 2 girls and 2 boys, as I'm told. We're here to understand the life as it is in the day of a partially sighted or a blind student. And I must inform you that although it is a school for the blind, not every tutor here is a blind person. There may be 1 or 2 who are partially sighted, even workers who also are blind. But yeah, it is mainly about the student. So I'm going to go and speak to one of the teachers, and then I'll interact with 2 students to understand life, the typical day in the life of a blind student in the school. I'm going to ask the teacher to join us. Sir, could you please join us? You would have to tell us your full name, sir, please.
My name is Gideon Doi.
So, first of all, thank you very much for joining us. Could you please tell us, when someone joins the school or someone is admitted into the school, how do they get their bearings? Because I see a lot of them very independent, they move about freely. How do you get them to know where they are, and how do they are they able to move around?
Thank you very much. Whenever admission is given, it is the responsibility of the school to get the students familiarized with the environment. So we put a team in place to train them in what we call orientation and mobility. In that, with this, they can be independent and get access to all the facilities on campus. So the PE department in particular played this critical role in the life of these students by giving them the orientation and their mobility training, access to dining hall, the classrooms, the dormitories, and all other places in the school.
I see some of them move about in groups and others move individually. What is the most difficult challenge when it comes to getting them used to their environment?
Okay, the challenge is actually, even with the sight, when you find yourself in an unfamiliar environment, you get confused. So with them, it takes time, especially the elderly ones, because of fear. The children, naturally, they don't fear, but with the grown-ups, those who have ever seen in life, with the fear that they harbor, that I may fall into a pit or I may get hurt. So it takes time, but with even the help of the partially sighted ones, they help them to get adjusted to the system.
Sir, I got blown away this morning by a very one singular act, and that was the bellboy who brought me to you. After he rang the bell, he simply just went ahead of me and then brought me to your location. When he left me, I saw him racing down the stairs, and I panicked. I thought, wouldn't he fall? But then he didn't. And then another young man behind him
just exclaimed. Now he no ko jom to say akakpo menimi. And then I asked him, how did he know? How are they able to tell who is going in front of them or walking from behind them?
Okay, actually they use a lot of techniques to identify their colleagues.
And do you teach these techniques?
No, sometimes they acquire it themselves.
Wow.
Perhaps Kakpo, as you are talking about, the one who mentioned his name might have perhaps the perfume that Akakpo normally uses is what he used to identify him, or sometimes the footsteps, the sound of the footsteps, they use that one also to detect. Because personally, sometimes when I move around without talking, sometimes they will be in the room without getting closer. Once they hear my footsteps, they mention my name. Sir Gideon is coming. Wow. So they use, even with the sometimes not talking properly.
Yes.
Those things, they are able to identify
Tell
you.
who
yes.
Clearing their throat.
Yes.
Wow. Now let me go and speak to two of your students. I'm getting excited now.
Thank you.
Now come on, Valerie, I've got one on you today. I definitely have one on you today. You should be here with me. Let me go over and speak to a student, Erica, and then the brother Oscar. Let me quickly go to them. Good morning, Erica Tete.
Good morning, sir.
How are you, madam?
Sir, please, I'm fine.
Fantastic. Erica, how long have you been here?
I think 6 years now.
What class are you?
Class 6.
Erica, how long did it take you to get used to this environment?
Almost 2 months.
Almost 2 months. Tell me, how do you know exactly where you are on campus?
How do I know where I am?
Yes.
Sometimes when you are coming, we normally stretch our hands to search for where we are going. Like if we are coming to the assembly ground,
yes,
you trace the road.
Okay.
And then come forward small.
Okay.
So when you step on the grass, you know that you are at the assembly ground.
Now, when you leave your classroom to go to your dormitory, how long does it take you, and how do you know you are on course to your dormitory?
Sometimes I take 3 minutes to my dormitory, and normally, if I'm not in hurry, I take about 9 minutes. But if I'm in hurry, I take like 3 minutes.
You were earlier on telling me you use the gutters on campus as your signpost. How do you tell which gutter, and how do you know this gutter is not the one to your dormitory?
It's the sizes of the gutters.
Wow. Wow. So the size of the gutter tells you are either headed for your dormitory or you're not.
Yes.
Right. Thank you so very much, Erica, for speaking to us on GTV. Thank you very much. Let me go and speak to Oscar and also get Oscar's point. All right, good morning, Oscar.
Good morning, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Fantastic, you're doing great. Oscar, how long have you been here?
Almost 8 years.
And what class are you?
Form 2.
JHS 2?
Yes, please.
Wow. Oscar, how long did it take you to get used to your environment?
I think about 3 weeks, because I was quick in those things, learning those things, because I was born with the blindness, so I started using that in my emphasis.
Wow. Now, Oscar, I see some of your mates passing and comments and signals. How do you know which of your mates is close by?
Normally we use the perfume.
Wow.
Sometimes use the pomade.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Oscar, if someone is watching us and they are sighted, they can see, but you can't see, what will be one thing you tell them? Because some of us who can see sometimes don't necessarily understand you. What will you say to us, those of us who can see?
Normally, some people, those who can see, thought that we who can see are something. We are disabled, or we are out of the system, but we can do something they can do. We do those high jump and the rest and those things. People normally know that we can't do these things. We do.
So you get involved with sports?
Yes, please.
Wow.
We do those sacres and the rest. Everything they do, we also do it.
I see. Thank you so very much, Oscar, for speaking to us at GTV. It's the World Sight Day, and we're at the Akropong School for the Blind. I earlier spoke to a teacher, and I've interacted with two of the students, Oscar and Erica. Simple. Oscar is saying they are not different. They're just like us. They get involved with everything we get involved with. The only difference is we see and they don't. And if you think of discrimination, well, maybe think again, because they are just you, not like you, but they are just you. This has been GTV Breakfast, coming to you live from the Akropong School of the Blind. My name is Darrell Alantego. It's been wonderful being in the school. Back to you in the studio, Valerie.
Well, that was my colleague Alan, who came to us World Sight Day, and we kept an eye at the Akropong School for the Blind. I'm going to hand over now. No, we're going to take a quick break. Remember, this show is made possible by Awake Purified Water, Adonko Next Level Energy Drink, Shield Acrylic Paint, Cheesy Pizza, and Airtel Tigo. I'm going to take a quick break.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
And they call me UJ. When you need a shoulder to cry, run on my pumping, so we try to suicide. Let bygone be bygone. I didn't see what the bottom gonna do. We dey go straight to stardom. I'm gonna take you to next level. My baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The energy next level. Back baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll take you to next level. My baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Adonko Next Level.
Excessive drinking can be detrimental to health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
From 1921 to 2021, the journey to our centenary has been amazingly worthy. Azar Group is 100 years and continues to achieve greatness.
Main brands which were in the company are Azar Tex, which is an emulsion paint, texture paints, which we were the first people to produce it in Ghana, and Azar Gloss, which is oil paint. We were the first people to produce the carpenter's glue. Now we have new products like silicone paint.
Join Azar Group celebrate 100 years and to create another brilliant 100 years together.
Please, I've not killed anyone. I just do galamsey. Your Honor, since the accused has been in the dock for a while, please permit me to serve him some water to drink. You promised to give me water. This water is coming from the gutter. It will make me sick. Your Honor, that is it. Due to the galamsey activities of the accused and his cohorts, they have polluted all our water bodies. See, this water is coming from our taps. They have destroyed all our forests, and above all, the activities are killing people.
Mr. Eja, you have been found guilty of indulging in galamsey. And since you don't want to mention the names of your bosses, you have been sentenced to 25 years in prison. This is my judgment.
Please, I will talk. Mr. Francis is bad. Mr. Martin is bad. Mr. Usu. Please, Your Honor, please.
Enjoy galamsey. Enjoy galamsey.
Many dance nina nyo. Eye ankasa don na me don wo. Na no say no don queen na me nyedinyi. Edruboni na me numwana. Anase mi koshe konfu. Se obi do wa wana. ya ini ukikano na mintio Angre chichire bidom ulimse Ifri onipango Ababa we enyimimo Neinanwa yedi konsiondo wana seo Sofie Nase usionu shie gudia Nenye likura Komna buamini Naminti Odaseno
My colleague Abdulhai Mumin, I can't even begin to say how much I love you. So I just want you to know that you are so much appreciated, and I don't know where I would be without you. I love you. Happy birthday. So let's settle down. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. The party is much later on. The Momo King will tell us where it is. We want to talk about how to support smallholder farmers. And there are a number of organizations who are doing just that, because there are a number of challenges in the system, and some of them have dedicated themselves to fixing some of those problems. So access to markets and village market linkages are one of the major challenges for the Ghanaian farmer and agribusiness, and continuous efforts have been made by government, development partners, civil societies, the private sector, and all other major stakeholders in the agricultural value chain to address the concern. Indeed, some gains have been made by the current dispensation of technology, and disruptions in food systems seem to have opened up a new discussion on agri-food market access. So this is what we are talking about: agri-food market access. It's not enough anymore to just plant, and it's not enough to just cart your goods the old-fashioned way to the markets to sell. But technology means that we need to find other ways to make this happen. And so despite the effects of COVID-19, the fact that the farmers were also affected and persons in the agribusiness industry were also affected by the pandemic, there is an organization, this time Agri House Foundation and its partners. They've come together and they are committed to scaling up the socioeconomic impact through the Pre-Harvest Agri-Business Conference, a pre-harvest agri-business conference and exhibition, and that will be coming up shortly. So some of the executives or some of the people in charge of putting that conference and exhibition together have joined me at the table, and we'll look at all that they bring to the table for farmers. And from my immediate left, I have to take my time for this one, Mr. Chris Ibisintabio. Yes?
Thank you.
Very good. Yeah. Mr. Chris Ibisintabio is the coordinator of the World Food Program. Chris, welcome and good morning. And next to her, Alberta Nanecha Akosa, Executive Director, Agri House Foundation. Lady, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So, Chris and Alberta, we've heard that COVID-19 has affected so many industries. Well, when it comes to farmers, how would you say it affected that sector? Because you're just planting crops and harvesting. Surely the pandemic would not have affected you that much. Maybe I'll start with the lady.
Yeah. Thank you again for having us. I think generally the pandemic, like you rightly mentioned, has affected every industry, agriculture and its allied industries. And for agriculture and for the farmers that we work with particularly, I think one of the biggest issues that has already been existing but became more increasingly critical was marketing. There was more of scarcity when it comes to food produce. There was panic buying, and we were mostly in the north, and sincerely, majority of the farmers that we were working with didn't even know what was happening. But there was a break in transportation. We are looking at the whole value chain, and when any part is affected, it affects our food system as well. So there was limited transportation already, and some of our farmers, there are bigger FBOs, there are aggregators who are doing so well, but sometimes there was also the non-literacy gap as well. So it has to take some time to bring to the consciousness or awakening of what is happening. And we don't normally work with in the digital world, and so it really brought a sense of awareness and awakening as to how we could introduce innovations, how we could use our creativity to bear when it comes to agribusiness. So I think we are already having issues when it comes to markets. We're already having issues when it comes to losses, and that's what the pre-harvest event has been seeking to address over the past 10 years. So the pandemic came in both at the wrong and at the right time, but I think it's been good now, because now we are looking at how to build more resilience, how to be better prepared. I think it took us by surprise, and now we are looking at what do we do, but what could we have done earlier that would have prevented or possibly positioned us for this period that we are in.
Okay, Chris, you're with the World Food Program, so yes. I'll put this question to you. How did COVID affect our food supply system? And while other sectors are taking advantage of technology, what technologies exist in the farming space that your players are taking advantage of to change the narrative?
Okay, the pandemic actually affected the whole agricultural value chain. As Alberta mentioned, looking at the input supply systems, for instance, the agricultural input dealers were unable to deliver the inputs in time. As she mentioned, also transport was also affected, but also extension systems, for instance, the government workers, the NGO extension system were unable to reach out to the farmers because of the protocols that were in place. So taking advantage of the innovations and systems in place, for instance, using ICT to be able to reach out to the farmers, as World Food Program, we have worked with a number of NGOs and other value chain players, including the Farm Radio International and other ICT players, to be able to reach out to the farmers through radio, through TV, such that they can be able to be educated on a number of, improved methods of farming. So that's what we are doing as the World Food Program, to be able to support the smallholder farmers. But also the pandemic affected, the whole marketing system. As you know, the demand also somewhere, was not in place, and therefore So farmers who had to withhold some of their products. So it also affected the whole distribution network of the foods. Yeah.
So then what's the pre-harvest conference seeking to do in all this, Alberta?
Basically, the pre-harvest event has been running for the past 10 years. It was introduced by the USAID Advanced Project, and in 2017, AgriHouse Foundation took over as part of the exit strategy. Basically, what it seeks to do is to create and strengthen the market linkage between the smallholder farmers, the buyers, the inputs, tractor and equipment companies, transporters, packaging and processing companies. So it really brings the whole cycle of the value chain together. And the essential thing that happens is negotiations and then contracts for off-taker agreements for these farmers. So it's been a direct impact, and that is really something that we are proud that we've been able to sustain for the past 10 years. So basically trying to see how farmers, position farmers for the harvesting season, and how we could bring buyers together, how we could bring input companies, fertilizers, irrigation to prepare for the next season. So you realize that during the 3-day period, a lot of contract negotiations are going on, contracts are being signed and all that, and there is also a lot of capacity building, and that's where we are happy to have partners like World Food Program, because at this stage we're looking at how do we work together to build resilience, how do we work together to fashion out innovative strategies to position farmers when it comes to these pandemics, how do we work together to introduce financial models to strengthen the capacity of farmers when it comes to whatever they are doing, how do we work together to produce good food, to provide good food, and to also, yes, again, strengthen our markets to produce good food for the community. So that's what has been happening over the years, and this year we look to further strengthen it. The conversation has become more prominent than ever, because we're looking at it already, as I mentioned earlier, we're already experiencing already post-harvest losses, and now the pandemic came in and it took a different direction. So how do we bring innovation and creativity into play, and how do all sectors come together to play a role? How do we work together? I think partnerships and collaborations have become very fundamental to the pre-harvest events now.
In connecting farmers with ready markets, is there a government-private sector collaboration? Because in some circles, government is the biggest employer, but government could also be the biggest buyer if they need to supply food for schools under the school feeding program, supply food for prisons and other activities of government. Is there a collaboration of that sort, private and
exactly.
public?
I think there's a collaboration of that sort, and it's actually stronger. For example, this food school feeding project is being run by the government but implemented by the private institutions. So during this period, they come there, they are looking for buyers. Some are looking, we have maize farmers, rice farmers. These are big FBOs, aggregators, and outgrowers. So they are into maize, into millet, into sorghum, into soya beans, everything, and they are looking to meet with buyers. So already we have a pre-arrangement already. Buyers have been calling us, I want to meet with this kind of group of farmers, and these farmers may be just one person they are meeting, but they have over 5,000 nucleus farmers under them. So you realize that there is a bit of sustainability there. Only the farmers need more capacity to be positioned and more structured. So before we even get to Tamale next week, we have a number of buyers, a number of individuals and institutions, some under the school feeding project, some also big processors who are looking to meet with buyers. And so there is that linkage, there is that partnership that is existing.
Okay, and I'll ask you this, Chris. What is it about what AgriHouse Foundation is doing that aligns with the goals of the World Food Program, and how does it affect your already existing relationships with the government institutions?
Yeah, the World Food Program focus areas, one is that we support farmers to improve productivity, and we work through different partners and also the government. So this partnership with AgriHouse indeed is very key in terms of supporting farmers to be able to know those better methods of farming. Two, also one of our core areas of the World Food Program is to address post-harvest losses, which are now high, among the smallholder farmers. We have losses up to 40% of the crop that is produced. So as World Food Program,
40%.
yeah, up to 40% of some of the products, you know, lost through the value chain. So we are trying to work with other, you know, with government and other partners to make sure we address, you know, some of the losses right off from the farmers through transportation and also storage. So these are one of the key areas that we are looking at. But also another area that we strongly support is access to markets. You know, most of the time our smallholder farmers produce a lot of crops. They have access to be able to, you know, to access the markets, but they are unable because of a number of, you know, factors. The buyers maybe are very far from them, or the prices are not, you know, favorable. So we make sure that we work with other partners to, you know, reduce some of these, you know, issues.
When it comes to prices, I'm glad you mentioned this specifically, because we've come to learn that the reason a lot of young people do not want to get into farming is because they think it is not lucrative.
Yes.
So apart from the international cash crops, cocoa, coffee, that have pegged prices, is there an attempt to get to a point where we actually peg commodities to specific prices and say, look, you bring us a bag of maize and this is the international price for it?
Yeah, as you mentioned, there's a lot of work to be done around prices. One, prices are determined by a number of things, demand and supply, but also the quality of the products. So one of the areas that we are addressing as WFP along with other partners is ensuring that there is good quality available and also standardized products. We have to work with other players to make sure that, you know, we have quality standards, well-defined quality standards, and therefore from the farmers' end they are able to negotiate when they are sure that, you know, they have a high quality product, and that's when we can have, you know, structured markets and so on. But it's a whole discussion that we have to, you know, involve other players.
I needed to throw that in there only because you mentioned prices specifically. But would you say after 10 years, Alberta, that this pre-harvest agribusiness conference and the exhibition has chalked any successes? Share some of the stories with us.
Okay, so I think the pre-harvest has come to stay as really the leading agribusiness market linkage in Ghana. It started in the northern region with just 200 participants, and after 10 years we have over 3,000 participants. We have private sectors and development partners like World Food Program, Yaba, and already taking the front stage to support in developing structures, in building resilience, and also creating, strengthening the market linkage for farmers. And I think over the past 10 years, we've been able to support farmers establish long-term market linkages or market sale contracts and this is for over 97,000 farmers. Like I mentioned, you can be a farmer, but you can be like a leader of the FBO and you have a lot of nucleus farmers under you. So you've been able to seal that contract definitely also influences all the others under you. So we've been able to support farmers sign long-term contracts with buyers. We've been able to, through the support of World Food Program and others, also been able to build the capacity of these farmers over the years to again have quality products that is accepted by that meets the standards when it comes to marketing. We've been able to also develop partnerships and through the exhibitions. You know, the exhibition just started with 5 exhibitors, and now we have over 100 exhibitors who are participating, right from fertilizer companies to...
So those are some of the products you'll be highlighting?
Yes, exactly. So these are all companies who will be there to showcase, and thereby they'll be linking to these farmers to prepare for the next season. So for it to travel for 10 years means like there is a huge interest, and we are happy we are at a stage. You know, we started having this in hotels, but we're happy at the stage that we've been able to acquire a 10-acre land with the support of the Bambam chief to develop a training and demonstration center, which is really the next phase of agriculture now in Ghana.
So tell us about what this year's event brings to the table. How is it different from the other 9 that you've done in the past?
It's not different. It's more of a scale-up. Now we are looking at preparedness. How do we become more proactive before we are hit by this? So we are looking at, like I mentioned, working together closely now, having not just talk, but practical and realistic talks that will carve a path to cement marketing strategy for farmers. And that's why we are happy to be working with World Food Program, with Yara and others. So how do we work together within with the financial institutions to introduce models that would be more realistic for farmers to adopt? How do we also work with farmers, work with businesses to produce good food?
And as you're on the trend of house, how do people take part in this, and where is it happening? How can they get involved?
It's happening in Tamale at the Ali Mahama Sports Stadium from the 19th to the 31st of October. That's the next week, Tuesday to Thursday, and there'll be a lot of activities after the opening ceremony. We're having our commodity breakout sessions. So it's a business stage for everyone who also wants to go into farming or into agribusiness, and we are encouraging media people to also be there. A lot of farmers are going to be there, those into rice, maize and all that, who are looking for buyers. We're going to have commodity breakout sessions to build the capacity of these farmers, and also we are going to have a gender session focused on women and how we could acquire land and how we could play key roles within the sector when it comes to processing. We want people, the youth, we have a youth session. The youth are the future of agribusiness, and we want them to bring their innovations and creativity to bear when it comes to agribusiness, and it's the only way we could really build a viable commercial sector. So we have a focused youth session, and we are encouraging everybody to really take advantage of that.
It's a broad vision you are spelling out for me, and I wonder, what do you anticipate this will do? How do you anticipate that it will change the narrative, if you do at all?
I think basically it will prepare us to be more prepared, and that's what we are seeking to do.
That's your anticipated outcome, to prepare you to be more prepared.
Exactly, because we are working with partners like he mentioned. We are trying to strengthen the market, and what can we do? What are the innovations? What are the creativity that we come to bear? We want people especially the youth, to appreciate that the value chain is really a cycle, and we can all play a role when it comes to building a formidable agribusiness platform.
This agri-village site that you have in Bambim, how exactly does it work? Is it a farm? Is it a center? Is it an office complex? What exactly is it?
It's everything, and we are happy it's coming at a time like this. I think it's going to be the first of its kind in Ghana. It's going to have a training center. I think Ghana, we don't really have a center when it comes to everything value chain. So we're going to have a training center. We're going to have demonstrations. We're going to have different kinds of crops. When you come there, normally when you are doing our field demonstrations, we have to travel miles and miles to somebody's farm. But this will be a state of the agribusiness center, where we have training centers there, where we have different farm models, right from crop to seed farms. You can be a farmer and you can just be doing seed farming. And we want people to appreciate the business angles or solutions when it comes to, so everything is going to be at the center.
So bringing farming and business together.
There'll be a conference center, so people want to have their conferences at an agri-business center. That's where you have to be. We are not looking to develop it in a day, but we are happy we have partners on board who are helping us to really put it out.
Okay.
But for this year, there'll be the demonstrations are really going to take place there. So we are encouraging people who want to, appreciate technology to also be on the field to see what is
going on. So I'll give you the opportunity to make final comments, Chris, and I just want to ask what the World Food Program is bringing to the table of what Agri House Foundation is doing in Tamale next week.
Yeah, World Food Program really supports the whole event, and as World Food Program want to display some of the technologies, for instance, for post-harvest management. We are working with a number of actors, private sector and government, to be able to promote improved technologies for post-harvest management, including equipment and then the knowledge associated with that. But also we'll be displaying, some of the market linkages models that, for instance, we are currently promoting to be able to advise farmers and other actors on how they can, the different opportunities they can use to be able to, market their products.
Okay, Albert, how do people reach you? Finally, quick one before we go.
I can't remember Albert.
Yes.
0244 623-012. And also you can follow us on Facebook. We are very active on Facebook, Agri House Foundation, and Instagram, and also our website is also active. So you could reach us and follow us, and then possibly register to be part. It's free for everyone, and so it's really a learning grounds. It's a grounds of improving yourself, identify new job opportunities when it comes to agribusiness. So we are encouraging everybody to be there.
Great. Thank you so much for engaging me in this discussion. We've been looking at agribusiness and support for smallholder farmers in Ghana. One company that is invested in doing that to bring farming and business together is Agri House Foundation. They have a conference coming up in Tamale, the Pre-Harvest Agribusiness Conference and Exhibition from the 19th to the 21st of October at the Aliu Mahama Park, and they're inviting everyone involved in the agricultural value chain to come on board to learn more and appreciate what technologies you can use to bring your farming business alive and bring it into the 21st century and beyond. I've been having this conversation from my immediate left from the World Food Program, Mr. Chris Ibisin Tabio. He's the coordinator at the WFP, and next to him Alberta Nanecha Akosa, Executive Director, Agri House Foundation. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for gracing the table. And as we continue the breakfast, we will be having another sit down with someone who has been in Ghana for 50 years. So he's probably more Ghanaian than me or you. He probably knows more about Ghana's history, has witnessed several transitions, probably more than me and you. I don't know, but you would want to find out. You don't want to miss this. Our question for the day, remember our cheesy quiz question of the day is, which visually impaired musician has won 25 Grammy Awards? We need you to send that answer to our WhatsApp number 0555561034, and we will pick 3 lucky winners who will win pizza vouchers. So you win a voucher to get delicious pizza from Cheesy Pizza, and if you get it, invite me so that we share. Okay, we will just drink Coke. And our winners from yesterday: Saidu Tanko Mohammed Rafa from Medina, Eben Mentar from Alajo, and ACP in Ketia from Police Headquarters. Hey, people who watch us, everybody wants pizza. So the 3 winners, we have your numbers. Get in touch with the team and pick up your vouchers, and then let's get some cheesy pizza together. And we'll be right back with that next sit down, and I'm sure members of Christ the King Catholic Church will not want to miss this. And people in Wager, especially that iconic hospital and that shelter, will not want to. I don't want to give away too much. So let's take a quick break and we'll be back.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
Yes, beep, beep, beep. I am 4 years old.
We are 12 years old.
It's been 1 year since I started my antiretroviral treatment.
You can live a long, productive life with antiretroviral treatment. With antiretroviral treatment, HIV-positive expectant mothers can have healthy HIV-negative babies. Go to the nearest health center, test and know your HIV status. If you are positive, ask about antiretroviral treatment and you receive help. Antiretroviral treatment is your only option for a long and fulfilling life.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission and the National AIDS Control Program of the Ghana Health Service with funding from the Global Fund.
any piano. Soon come to Yama coffee for Cram Doctor. Hey, a man, I Jimmy. When you man, I bought me. I'm a sassy me, Tata. And I'm a bum with that and you. That's now I drop money. I won't cry, man. I didn't penny make your time, you.
Thanks so much for staying with us, and he's already making me crack. So, a quick intro on October 12, yes? October 13, 1971, a young Irish Catholic priest of the Society of the Divine Word, SVD, religious organization, arrived on the shores of Ghana to begin his missionary work. So, he docked at Tema 50 years ago, and by the grace of God, and 50 years down the line, this priest has retired from active service and active parish life and official duties, and now has permanent residence with the cured lepers at Wager Leprosarium. Now that I've mentioned Wager and I've mentioned the cured lepers, I'm sure you know exactly who I'm talking about. This man, you see him, but let me tell you his Ghana. His name is Nilante. The guys have adopted him. Ghana has adopted him. We have revoked his Irish, British, whatever citizenship. He's fully Ghanaian after 50 years. And he's in the studio with me to mark his 50, like a golden jubilee of his stay in Ghana. Reverend Father Andrew Campbell. Father Campbell.
Thank you very much. Thank
Welcome.
you. I'm happy to be with you.
Hey, Obache Ghana, eh?
Church of you.
Oh yeah, Asha, won't you go?
Yeah, Sheikh Dabi.
It's so funny, but 50 years, the kind of changes you must have witnessed from when you first landed at Tema, and the kind of changes you see now. We've come so far, haven't we?
I mean, different governments, buildings, roads. I mean, everything has changed.
When you arrived, there was what? What wasn't there, and what is there now?
Well, I mean, so many things have changed. So many. You look back 50 years ago, many of the roads, new roads, buildings. I've grown with it, I suppose. So I'm so used to all the buildings and the rest. But it's got better since 50 years is a long time.
Do you feel more Ghanaian than Irish?
Yes, I'm more Ghanaian. Just definitely. When I go back to my family in Ireland, they tell me I have a Ghana accent. They say you speak like an African. How they speak, I don't know.
These people. But 50 years. What has the journey been like for you?
It's been an exciting journey, challenging journey, and happy journey. Those I'd say, you know.
Exciting,
the joy of being preserving people here in Ghana has been a blessing to me. That's why I've taken the motto of Mother Teresa, doing something beautiful for God. Because I see my work as doing that, doing something beautiful for God. And I've been doing that, giving retreats, going to serving in different parishes, visiting the sick. All of this, it's a joy to do this. And I'm happy to do it. That's why I've taken the motto of Mother Teresa, doing something beautiful for God, helping people. That's what I'm there for.
The Catholic Church says that you've retired, but really you haven't, have you? Because you're always
retired
doing
from
something.
active parish life. So I don't have a parish. But But I'm still very
But you advised the King for many years.
I was there 12 years at Christ the King, 12 years at Good Shepherd, 22 years at Derby Avenue, Sacred Heart, at 5 years at Holy Spirit Cathedral. So I've been here all this time. And now when you say retired, I've retired from active parish, but I still have weddings, I attend baptisms, retreats, things like that. I'm kept busy. I want to be busy because I feel this is my work. I cannot sit and do nothing. There's so much to be done. There's so much. We're not just helping Wage Leprosarium. We're also helping all the other various leprosarium too. Like Common Fund have been very good to us. Common Fund have built in Wage. They've renovated wards down in Ankerford, also in Hull. Also they've built a new laboratory up in Wap. And on the coming Saturday, in commemoration of my 50th year, we're going to open, commission and bless 2 new facilities in Wage, and also a research centre and clinic, the only research centre for leprosy in the whole of West Africa. And then 2 new compounds, beautiful new rooms for each leper. So we're going to commission that on Saturday, 10 o'clock in the morning, and the Archbishop of Crown will be there. Our Apostolic Nuncio will also be there, and many invited guests will be coming on Saturday for
Father
this
Kando,
occasion.
how did it all start for you? When you arrived 50 years ago, I'm sure you identified many causes. So how did you settle on the cured lepers to be your baby project?
Yes. Well, when I was working at the cathedral, that was between 1971, 72 to 75, 76. It was during that time that I met a leper. I never met a leper in my life before. I read all about them in the Bible, but I never met one. And when I did meet one, I was frightened, because this man came with a bag of mangoes. He had no fingers. He was holding it like this, and he handed it to me. And I was frightened. I mean, I gave them away immediately, because I said, yeah, I'll get leprosy. Yeah. But then I said, no, this is not right. So that's when I went to Waja and followed up to see where he lived and the conditions he lived in the rest. And it was absolutely atrocious. It was awful. It was disgusting. I felt bad. I said, no, let me help these people.
And I'm sure you felt apprehensive those first few visits, perhaps, when you went there.
This time when I got to know the people personally, then I broke down all barriers. Then I was there, and I was one of them. I was with them the whole time. I was, visiting, bringing them food and bringing them to the hospital. I was in the hospital last night till after 11 o'clock with one patient. Even last night, somebody was sick, very sick yesterday. We had to bring them down to the hospital. It was nearly midnight when we were finishing. So this is
before you assumed that you adopted that project, it was, like you've alluded to, a bad situation for the lepers. Would you say it has improved much since
you've been? It has improved. I think the greatest problem we have is a stigma. People are afraid of touching a leper, going near a leper. But over the years, things have changed. Again, thanks to the media. Thanks to GTV and others, the media has brought them to the front. People see them now. We bring the lepers out. Recently we brought them to a concert, a concert nearby in Waja, and they mix around with people. Until then, people don't want to go near them, just, touch them or see them. People would prefer to give food to other organizations rather than to the lepers. They're afraid of going there. But now, little by little, that stigma, we're breaking it down to help us to give it to see these are real people. They are our own brothers and sisters.
And you know a lot about giving food to the vulnerable, because as the King, you had the soup kitchen for years, and it became an annual ritual for you to feed hundreds of people in any given period. And so giving food to these people became like a big thing for you. The Granny Project that you've just spoken about, what's the target? We know that the lepers have very big friends, and the Vice President, for example, recently had his 58th birthday.
Our patron.
Wow.
He's
so he
patron
had
of the lepers.
breakfast.
It was a big bowl that day. He gave us all the food. There was plenty of food. There was a big breakfast. There was a big banquet. We had a great time last week. Yeah. What I want to do on Saturday, I want to adopt a granny scheme. Adopt a granny, curative. They're all grannies and granddads out there. And I want people to adopt one person. I'm looking for 200 people that will say, look, I will adopt such and such, let's say Mr. Mensah. I'll adopt him. And every month I will give 100 CDs and upwards to help for his food, his medical care and the others. Because what help do the lepers get? They're on the League Fund. That's 30 CDs a month. That's 1 CD a day. I've asked them to increase that. They should. Not all lepers are on that. Only about half in the country are on it. Where I'm always asking the Ministry for Gender to please put them all on it, all on that scheme. So we do need money to support them. And that's why I'm looking for 200 people. That will be to cover Wager Leprosarium, to cover a whole leprosarium, Encanchina leprosarium. So we're asking people, 200 people to give me 100 CDs every month, 100 CDs or more. And that they will also not only give them money, but also visit them, come to the rooms, come and see them. What help do you need? And even just to talk to them and get to know them. I mean, when you sit down and talk to these people, the stories they will tell you, your hair will stand on your head. The stories, how they've been treated, what they've gone through over the years, it's absolutely awful. So we need this contact with people. So that's what I'm going to do on Saturday, during this ceremony on Saturday, the commissioning ceremony, to launch and adopt a granny scheme.
How do people get involved and where can they find you? Father Campbell is everywhere, but if they want to reach out to be part of the granny project, how do they do that?
On Saturday, they'll all be present there. So we have the forms ready for them, and we give out the forms with the names on them, and then they will get back to me and say, I will adopt this person. And then they can send the money through my Momo, my telephone number, and help us, because we need help. We need help now with the new buildings. We have to employ more people. We have to maintenance. So it's going to take a lot of more money to help. So that's why we need the assistance to help us with that.
So take us through the event again. Time, place, and then who we are expecting and what you want to achieve with this, just to drum it home for people who are watching us.
Coming right Saturday, 16th of October, at 10 o'clock in the morning, at Wager Leprosarium, we will commission and bless new buildings, 3 new buildings, 2 compounds of 20 houses each, and 1 building of a clinic and a research center at 10 o'clock in the morning. And during that time, we will commission, or so we will launch Adopt a Granny scheme during that scene. Yeah.
Do you care to share the Momo number with us? In case someone is not able to be there but still wants to donate.
332 6643.
So 024 332 6643.
Correct.
The Momo number that you can donate to help some of the cured lepers, some of the grandmothers and grandfathers at the Wager Leprosarium, and the whole one as well, other facilities in the country. And Father Campbell is here marking his golden jubilee of his arrival in Ghana. 13th October 1971, this man left his family, he left his home, everything he had known, and he came to West Africa, he came to Ghana, and he did 50 decades of active parish life, decades of philanthropy, decades of service in humility. I personally know you, and I need to mention, good morning to you, Mr. Foster Nyako. I know that you are watching us this morning, so I'm bringing you greetings from Mr. Nyako and his whole family, because you are very close. Your family, you are a very close friend of ours, and I know he would want me to say this to you. Decades of active service. He's adopted cured lepers as his baby project. The Wager Leprosarium, cured lepers there, helping immensely. They have another project this Saturday, the 16th of October at 10 a.m. at the Wager Leprosarium. Father Campbell is asking you to adopt 1 granny, 1 cured leper from any of the leprosariums across the country, and commit to sending them 100 cedis or more every month towards their upkeep. Commit to visiting once in a while. Commit to chatting with the cured lepers once in a while, so that they get back the sense of community and society and togetherness. That's what he's championing on the program today after 50 years of his arrival in the country. Father Andrew Campbell, thank you so much for your many years of service.
Thank you.
My producers will work very, very quickly on that. And so, Father Campbell, this project, 10 a.m. on Saturday, he's asking, they are going to commission some buildings. They need money to do some of these things. So get in touch. The phone is 0244. We are getting excited, aren't we? There's a band in the house, so you see them very shortly. The Momo number is 024-332-6643, and you can send Momo to the Father Andrew Campbell's team, and it goes towards supporting the cured lepers. Father Campbell, thank you again.
Thank you very
for being here.
All the friends, all the benefactors, and all who've helped me for those 50 years. I've so many. I am what I am because of them. The support I've got in all the various parishes I've been to, Christ the King, Good Shepherd, Sacred Heart, they've been so good to me. All I can say is thank you and God bless you.
Thank you to Father Campbell. You heard it, and we're getting ready to get to the yellow couch to bring you some warmer helpings on the breakfast plate, and Airtel Tigo is proudly associated with the yellow couch. So yellow couch, Airtel Tigo, red and blue, rainbow colors. We'll be right back to do more after the break. Stay with us.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
Journey to our centenary has been amazingly worthy. Azar Group is 100 years and continues to achieve greatness.
Main brands which were in the company are Azar Tex, which is an emulsion paint, texture paints, which were the first people to produce it in Ghana, and Azar Gloss, which is oil paint. So we were the first people to produce the carpenter's glue. Now we have new products like silicone paint.
Join Azar Group celebrate 100 years and to create another brilliant 100 years together.
No matter what I face, I look up to God, oh. 'Cause I know that when I pray, you hear my call, oh. If I when you sing it, yeah, nyame wo home anima, fahuni na shensa, nya wacho no biambita. When you sing it, yeah, nyame wo home anima. Every day, I pray to God, oh, I pray to God, oh, make me why every day, I pray to God, oh, 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 make me every day, I pray to God, oh, I pray to God,
chenia na so binim amanya ohuno everybody boy you obi ya na ya obi ya o din pa wo atanfo oni pa ma bia so nu ye everybody boy you obi ya na ya obi ya Madi mo yo bi eyin ori asi o madi npo no won yan ko fo ya ala sama tan ya dosun awon ya ni ribo ni adosun o ba madi se obe yenu obon tin suni eye ni abebure obe mo no do na mu no so ope kwa ya obe faso obe se wo wọ́n fi fún oṣù sọ̀rọ̀ yá bẹ̀dẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ yá títìrì oṣù wọ́n wọ́n fún ní náà ẹ̀tí ọ̀sán wíwé bìbí à ẹ̀yẹ ẹ̀yẹ dẹ̀ ọ́ ònyàmí wọ́n abọ́nẹ́sẹ̀ wọ́n yẹ nsọ́ à yẹnkún efiri ase à ọbẹ̀ nyá adìẹ à òbí mọ́dé bọ́ ẹ̀ òbí ẹ̀yẹ òbí ẹ̀yà ni ẹ̀yẹ òbí ẹ̀ What's no young choir out time? Onipa ye no na time for doors. To be kwan and go be a juma say. To be kwan go be a warrior say. The copy kwan of your boy bassa. To be kwan go be a fiasim. A time of revenue any brave baby. Because it's so be more than more you be here. And in TV, mommy, fear. And I am I only for mamma, I'm a funny breno. Oh, mamma, they can say. So kakraba unsemo pawbet okey-dokes. Okey-dokes, guys. Welcome to the warmer side of the breakfast table, brought to us by kindness of Airtel Tigo. And you know, before we came on, you heard those tunes, you were serenaded, and that is Berema Inti Ajimani. He is visually impaired and he's a high life singer. So guys, today on this side of the couch, we are only going to be doing singing and talking to people who are visually impaired in the creative arts industry and find out their challenges, their successes, and what keeps them going. This show is by kindness of Airtel Tigo. I have in studio, seated on the yellow couch, the amazing Adelaide Dosia. Hi, beautiful woman. Hello. Welcome to the studios of GTV Breakfast.
Thank you.
Your smile is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
So here's what we're going to do today. We are not going to talk about your music. We're going to have you sing. We're not going to talk about your music, though. We're going to get up close and personal with you.
Okay.
What is a typical day in your life? What does it look like? Can you run us through what it looks like from when you wake till when you go back to bed?
Okay, thank you. I'll say hello to all our viewers this morning.
Yes, yes, yes.
So just like any other person, when I wake up, I pray. After praying, I lay in my bed again, do the morning brushes and all that. So on a day when I'm not going anywhere, I'm either chatting on phone or reading a book with my laptop.
Right.
And then maybe listening to radio or watching TV, or just going about up and down in the house. Then it's evening. Sometimes I cook.
What's your favorite meal?
I like any rice meal. So I like anything rice.
Okay.
Or noodles.
Okay.
Yes. And then, so that's basically it. When it's evening, I just go back to bed.
Okay, that's what your day looks like.
Yeah.
Do you have siblings?
Yes, I do. I have a lady following me, and then our last born is a boy.
Okay, so 2 girls, 1 boy. You are the eldest.
Yes, I
Big
am.
sister roles.
I know, right?
But how do you relate to your siblings? How do you relate to your siblings?
Okay, so nothing has actually changed. I'm still the big sister of the house.
Okay.
I relate to them like any other big sister. Sometimes giving commands and all that.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so that's it. Sometimes when I cook, I dish it out for them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I just relate to them normally.
Okay. And what are some of the comments you get from them? Maybe their friends, classmates, about their sister being a celebrity superstar?
Oh, some people actually will call my sister because they want to talk to me. My brother posts me almost every day because he wants people to know he is my brother.
Of course, as it should be.
Yeah, so they're excited and they're friends too.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about personal friends, your own friends? I gather you have friends who are visually impaired and you have friends who are sighted.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you are with your friends who are sighted, how do you feel? How do you relate to them?
Okay, so the whole feeling is normal, just that those who are sighted feel you need more attention, so they tend to be pampering you more.
Okay.
So they don't want you to fall or do this, and I'm like, I'm fine, but mostly they're scared you may hit your head against something, so they're all pampering. Then when I'm with my visually impaired,
okay.
yes.
And when you're with them, they don't pamper you.
Oh, everybody, see, each one for himself. God for us all. It's also normal there, just that with them we're likely to be bumping into each other more.
Okay.
And that's fun. Sometimes we laugh at ourselves and life goes on.
I like that. Life goes on, sure. Now let's talk about the creative arts. Do you sometimes feel that in your quest to become a better version of athlete, in your quest to become the ideal singer that you want to be, do you feel that people sometimes take advantage of you because you're visually impaired?
I think mostly I hear that a lot when it comes to up and coming artists rather than artists with peculiar needs.
Right.
So I like to generalize it. You know, it's hard for you to get out there because you're not coming up. But with me, by the grace of God, I haven't really experienced that yet. At least not yet. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so nobody's taking advantage of you. You don't feel that. We want to have a feel of your voice, Adelaide. So, what are you going to do for us?
I'm going to do a couple of songs.
Okay, which one first?
What's the title? Lean on Me.
Lean on Me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, it's World Sight Day. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to have a feel of Adelaide's voice for the first time in studio here in GBC. Okay, Adelaide, take us away.
All right, thank you. So I like very much to play the keyboard.
Uncle Belma is on beat. He's waiting,
Try the key. Okay, so thank you. Sometimes in our life we all have pain, we all have sorrows, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're
to God, oh, I pray to God, oh, make you wire me. Every day, I pray to God, oh, I pray to God, oh, make you wire me.
I saw that part. You had to add Whammy. So after the release of Whammy, what were some of the most honest comments that you got? And then also, which comments brought you down the most? Do you have any moments where you felt really, really down? And please share.
Okay, so after I released Wire Me, I got so many people inspired.
Yeah.
Not just because of Wire Me, but because of the message that I carry every time I am on air or anytime I meet somebody. And I was really impressed because growing up, I'd always wanted to be in a position where I can put a smile on somebody's face, or I can be of help. And so when I came out and I started getting that response from people, I was actually pushed to do more because I realized that what I actually coming to pass, or I'm realizing it.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I hear comments like, it's not true, she's not blind, she just needs attention, or she's just taking advantage of the fact that she's visually impaired to just enter into the media or just
to get
seek attention. Yes, and those comments, especially the fact that I am not blind. I know there are people that would go about extorting money from people using some conditions that they're actually not going through, but I'm not doing that. I'm actually visually impaired. I don't see it as a joke, so I wouldn't play with it. Yeah, so those are the kind of comments that really get me down.
Right. I know that when you're not singing, you write motivational message. I beg your pardon, not write. You sort of audio motivational messages.
Yeah.
Before we come back to you and that question, we're going to take a quick break.
This is Krokwedu and his family. They have just won 10,000 Ghana cedis. You too can win up to 100,000 Ghana cedis. Simply recharge, call more, browse more, use Airtel Tigo Money more, and play the SMS trivia to earn points and win big in the Airtel Tigo Togo Miso promo. So why wait? Dial star 500 hash now.
Airtel Tigo no, my DNB.
Right, and so we are spending time with Adelaide Lucia and Berima T. Ajuman. Berima T. Ajuman is a high life musician and he's visually impaired. He's amazing at the keyboard. Back to you and earlier questioning. I listened to an audio message.
Okay.
It's motivational, and that's by you. That's what you do when you're not singing?
Yes, I do that a lot. So as I said earlier, I always want to be in a position where something I do, even my smile, can make somebody smile too.
Yeah, it did. It made us smile. Yeah.
So that's why I do these messages, and I'm doing it through stories because almost everybody likes a story.
Yeah.
So when I want to say something, I just narrate it in a story. Yeah.
We have one, and my producers are going to project it soon enough. But then you have another song for us.
Yeah.
Okay. Take us away then.
Emmanuel.
Right, we're ready for you. Ready, one.
When signing you my when you're now it is when signing you my when you're no coffee when signing you my when you're now it is you Shira now you're sorry.
Okay. Clara. Okay, all right. Okay. Okay.